lady in a burqa, and immediately, oh, there isn't any bloody white people. It's like that video. Have you seen? I don't know if it was an interview. I don't know if it was a Vox Pop for like Politics Joe or somebody, where they're complaining about how you can't move for ethnic minorities in this area. Like they're just everywhere, and the camera just pans out to the local town centre that they're doing the interview in, and there's like hardly anyone about, and the only people that are about are white. It's giving that sort of energy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's just doing it like he's trying to stir up racial hatred so that he could take over a dying political party. Thanks.
Cheers.
Yeah. Terry's shared an update. Ahmed, the kid with all the cats who posts a lot on Instagram, is still alive, thankfully. So for anyone that needs to know or that has been following Ahmed's story, that's just a good an update there. So thank you.
I mean, that's nice, but that's so white people. Like the cats are okay. There's 110...
Well, no, he's saying the kid. No, he's saying the kid with all the cats. He's saying the kid with the cats is still alive.
Are the cats okay though? I do need to know about the cats.
I mean, I assume so. I don't know.
I love cats.
But Ahmed
cats.
is. Vicky says
cats.
The most recent flotilla interception, they were even further from Gaza shores. It seems like they don't really care how close they are to Gaza.
It was in international waters. Like, I literally, like, make it make sense. It was in international waters, and then when...
Like, if you're gonna do genocide, you're not gonna stop at piracy, are you?
No, you're not. You're not.
I mean, what next? A bit of subtle drug running?
Well, just tax on that fraud? Point. Flow Snakes pointed out, remember, by the letter of the law, it's only piracy if done by private vessels for private ends, just to preempt the has barrister talking points, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, to those people, go fuck yourself with a rake.
To which people? The you don't know what you're talking about people?
Yeah, no, if you're a Hasbro dickhead who stumbles on this video, I hate you and I hope bad things happen to you. Yeah. No, I've said my piece. I'm good.
Can't add to that.
You don't need to. It's unaddableness.
Yeah.
And I endorse that message.
Michael, not a peep from our government about those who from the UK who were kidnapped / abducted. Apparently, it was up to Israel to do whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah, that's sort of the galling thing as a UK taxpayer, right? You pay your taxes to a government that you know will collude in your torture, up to and including rape, because that's a thing that the Israeli forces do to detainees.
Yeah.
And of course your murder, because we've had British citizens murdered and the UK government went, eh. So, like, I mean, fuck them.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit angry since I came back. The power outage has annoyed me.
I think it was generic.
It's fine. I mean, that's probably the electricity workers going on strike to add to your bins. And
no, it was definitely generic because he was like, no, he's against the narrative. He's a white man in Birmingham. He must be shut down.
If the lights are off, you can't see the colour of the skin of the people you're talking to.
Exactly.
Oh dear me. Right, so I think that we're probably going to call it there. Just by the way, everyone. Remember that we do now have an up and running Discord, and also if you're on Reddit, you can actually now use our. I mean, you could use it anyway, but you can use our. Is it a subreddit? Is that what it's called?
Okay, but if you're on Reddit, also get a fucking life.
Who's
on Reddit?
I have no idea. Somebody set it up, and I recently thought maybe we should expand our horizon.
Get a fucking life.
So
if you're on Reddit, have you thought about getting a girlfriend instead?
There are some hilarious.
There's lots of political conversations going on Reddit. We're at
and only 70% of them are very racist, so it's fine.
We're at r/turnleft media. It's a subreddit. It was set up by one of our community and hasn't really had much postings in it. But if you are on Reddit and you want to post anything that might be of interest to viewers or what have you, then you can do that
get
there.
Some friends.
Or get some friends, as Kev says. There's also the link to the Discord is also been shared in the chat as well. Honestly, Kev, we are also on Facebook. If you're a boomer, we don't really use it.
I don't use Facebook.
But if you're over the age of about 60, we're on Facebook. And where else are we? Instagram.
Yeah, Insta, TikTok. I'm
Blue
also
Sky.
on TikTok. you want to drop me a follow.
Twitter for our sins. Still hanging on in there. We're all over the place. Point being is like, follow, subscribe, and all that shiz. And
Yes.
Maybe don't admit to all the socials that you're on if Kevin's watching.
True.
Yeah. Thanks, Callum.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight. It's been a bloody brilliant show. I actually quite like being the sandwich in the middle, you know, on a Wednesday. Like, I'm the best filling.
You are.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. I actually really appreciate that. Callum, can you take this producer live thing off?
I'm getting there.
Sorry.
And what's happened is because Kevin, I just pretended to have gone because Kevin was booted by his electricity. It's removed him from the scene. So while you were just chatting there,
Sorry. I'm
back
actually
in.
such. I'm
But
such
you highlighted to our entire audience that I hadn't changed the screen before I had a chance to change it. I was about to press the button, but thanks for that, Sarah.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm back. I'm on Wednesdays now, guys. So tune in on Wednesdays, and obviously Mondays and Fridays. But yeah, I'm here on Wednesdays. But thank you so much, Kevin. You've been so bloody insightful and brilliant and great. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you. Sorry, I cut you off. Thanks.
It says that's a very hairy sandwich.
Yeah. Thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight. Just to let you know that we don't have a show this Friday. And some of the team will be attending the World Transformed. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you some content, including interviews from the event. But as ever, do remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, come to Discord, come to Instagram. Am I allowed to plug in the fact that I'm doing London Marathon?
Do it. You've done it.
Thanks. I have done it now. So I did that on purpose so that Callum could say, yeah. So I'm doing London Marathon next year. And if you go to my TikTok, I have a donation link if you have the capacity to donate. But if you don't have the capacity, that's absolutely fine. I'm not trying to take from turn left donations, but I'm also donating. I'm also trying to run for the Children's Society. So if you have anything to spare, them, please do. Or just a share. That goes a long way. Anyway, that's enough plugging me in. Well, Transform this weekend. We will, of course, be back on Monday. So thank you so much. I'm Sarah DeLau. We'll see you then.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing interviews at World Transform. I think we're just attending. I will be...
Adolf Hitler!
Oh, here we go.
What?
No, we've removed him. He's not on it anymore.
Well, I do it in honour of Adolf Hitler. No one clipped that out of context, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Adolf Hitler. God forbid.
Yeah.
We... Yeah, he's been removed, his little endorsement. Although we'll be at something that we are doing is exclusive.
Why has he been removed? Is that like a genuine editorial?
Why can't I see Kevin?
You can see Kevin.
No, on the big screen.
On the big screen.
Hello.
Can you see Kevin now?
Hello.
Yellow.
There you
go. Okay. No, we've just changed the outro. But I will be exclusive for Kev's viewers. I will be tomorrow evening attending, assuming it hopefully goes ahead, an In Conversation event in Liverpool with Jeremy Corbyn, Zara Sultana, and it's hosted by the Merseyside Your Party.
Oh no,
event.
the landlord transphobe isn't going to be there.
No, although I did meet him the other day, actually. I told them that.
Did he check if you got a cock or not? Or
no, but I just told him that they needed to sort their shit out because if they didn't, then we were all going to be fucked. So he seemed to take it quite well, to be fair. But
yeah.
Well, you should have offered him some blood because, leeches prefer that, don't they?
Yeah, they fucking do.
But yeah, we will be. I'll be covering the event in Liverpool tomorrow, assuming Corbyn and Sultana both turn up. That is, of course, which I'm sure they will.
No, because Zara Sultana will get on an early train before it's been announced they're going to get on a train.
Corbyn's,
and then he's going to say, "This is not the right train. This is the real train that we're on."
Yeah, this is not your train. This
exactly.
is my train.
It'll be interesting to see whether one of them joins via a Zoom link or not, though, or if they're both there in person, mind you. So we'll see. But to be fair, they've been going around the country, not together, but both of them have been going around the country attending Your Party events in different parts of the country to try and pull this all together. So what I'd like to know is what the membership numbers are now, because they've not announced them since all the debacle. So
presumably they're nowhere near as impressive as they were before the debacle.
Well, they're moving over all the memberships of people who joined under the initial option to join. So if you joined when Zara put the link out, you're still classed as a member. And I think they reached, what did they say they'd reached there? Would it gone up to like 20,000 or something before the plug was
Something
pulled?
like that, yeah.
Although interestingly, about I think in the last month, I think the Green Party's numbers have gone up about 20,000.
Yeah, they're doing fucking brilliantly, and
So-
I think it's because of something that they've opted to do.
What? Do you mean elect Zach Polanski as the leader?
No, not that. Like that's light work. It's actually it's abolish landlords, mate. Like that.
Yes.
No, I read that. I read that the other day, and I was like, "Fucking hell!"
You know, the policy isn't to abolish landlords, though. That's just the title of the policy.
Get rid of those fucking parasites, man.
The policy is technically to implement so many rent controls and improve renters' rights, etc., to the point where landlords essentially abolish themselves. Because it's decentivizing being a landlord more than anything. And this was proved brilliantly by Ian Dale on LBC the other evening, who I called in to have a go at, when he said because he's a landlord, where he said himself, if the Green Party get into government, he would sell up all his properties overnight. And I'm like, well, that's the point.
Yeah,
the Greens aren't abolishing landlords. The landlords are abolishing themselves.
Well, it's the amount of people who are like, "Wow, that's going to make loads of people homeless." No, it isn't. No, it won't make a single person homeless. They stay where they are. It's just instead of paying their money on a tenuous basis where they can be kicked out at any moment to a fucking leech, they can do it. They give that lower money to the council, who can then reinvest in the properties.
Deep it though, like £84.6 billion goes into an unregulated rental market. Like that is fucking wild. Yeah. It's fucking wild. It's disgusting. And like I don't know. I really hope that I'm not going to get in trouble for this. My landlord is awful. Like she's saying, I'm going to charge you for changing the bulbs. Hello? How am I supposed to look where I need to go in the house if my bulbs aren't working? I've already told you, insert name here, that I need the lights to be changed. And now you're telling me I need to pay for changing the bulbs. Mate, I paid my own money to change the bulbs. It makes no sense that you want to take more money from me, and I already pay so much money every single month. Fucking joke. And the toilet seat's broken from wear and tear, not because I'm landing on it funny.
So what the fuck are you doing?
I'm not doing that. It was already a bit wobbly. Like, I'm fucking tired of these stupid landlords.
It's all right. We had a new floor put into our bathroom because the old one was like.
Did you forget to raid? Turn left, apparently.
Blame Curtis. He's the one that does the raiding.
Curtis, go fuck yourself. No, I'm only joking.
You not do it, Callum.
Although to be fair, I did just end the live, so that was possibly on me, but I wouldn't know how to raid.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, it's not. That's the worst possible thing anyone could ever do. Kevin's not raiding to your live when you're literally streaming whilst we're live. I do apologise.
Oh, is Kevin streaming?
Yeah.
No, Kev's streaming. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, everything we're talking about is going out live on Kev's live.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so hopefully your landlord's not watching, Sarah.
Kevin, I always forget that you stream.
But we had new floors put in, so we had a like an old, like the wooden laminate flooring. And it was rotting in the bathroom. It was just a really, like, who puts a wooden floor in a bathroom? I don't know. It's just a bit crap. So I thought, well, they're going to rip the old floor out and then they're going to put like a new. It was like a lino floor they've put in. No, the lino floor's just been laid on top of the wooden floor that's underneath. So at some point, and it's not my problem, but at some point the landlord's going to come and lift that floor up in many years to come and find an absolutely awful, rotten floor underneath that's just been left to rot. So that's nice. Problem I've got is I don't have the light bulb problem, Sarah, but because the ceilings are so high and I don't own a step ladder, the landlord needs to come and fix the fire alarms whenever the fire alarm batteries start going. You'll be pleased to know that's actually been done now, so if I'm going live on TikTok anytime soon, it won't be beeping. But,
fair. But no, I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, Kevin, for coming on with me today. It's been great.
Thank you for having me.
I didn't do much.
Kev. It's been a great
anyway, I'm gonna go because I came back from work and I have to shower. So
yeah, I was gonna say remember to stay for the local recordings, but I think it's all gone. It's all gone a bit weird. I think there's only Kevin's that's loading.
Okay.
So
I'll stay in.
I don't see a thing where it's loading.
Well, it says you're on 100% actually. It's just me and Sarah that named Sarah and Curtis, who's It says it's uploading, but I can't see it in the view all recordings folder, so God knows. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also do. Sorry, just a quick word. I also do doubt that my landlord's actually watching because she's too busy like living her life in Spain.
The fact that you think you're... Wait, hang on. You want your landlord to come and change your light bulbs from Spain? I'm not surprised.
No.
She's charging you if she's coming that far.
No. She doesn't. You know, landlords don't do the job themselves. They send people to do the jobs for them.
That's
The
why,
joke
that's
is-
why she wants to
But you know,
charge
I've got a really, really big audience in the kind of landlord expats in Spain.
Yeah, I bet all the landlords love you, Kevin.
Honestly, they do love hearing
You know
how much I
why?
detest them. Yeah.
It's because you're the only white face in Birmingham. That's
True.
why. Right. Love you guys.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
There you go. Hello, everybody. Now, I don't know if noises happened. Okay, I got cut off there, as anyone who was with me from the start, right? I was doing the stream, it was all grand. Then my fucking all of my plugs switched off for like a tenth of a second or something. I don't know, some glitch on the fucking system, and it shut my computer down, and it just reloaded, and then the lights came back on and everything. It was, oh, for fuck's sake. So it stopped. So I have no idea who gifted what and when and how, because I was being newsboy. So if you gave me money, thank you. Genuinely, I appreciate that. God bless you. But I don't know if you did or what your message was or anything. But the alert box is now back on. So if you want to give me money now, you can do. In the form of bits and subs and bits messages and super chats and all of that jazz. I can put my video back on. Hang on. No, hang on. Now that I'm not in the thing. There you go. You can see my one eye. I don't know if it was a power cord, just some sort of glitchy thing. Literally, it was just like a tenth of a second. It was just like it switched off and then instantly back on. And everything started to reload again. It was very annoying, chat, I can assure you. Look, I've had a shave. A brownout. Isn't that when you shoot yourself? I don't know. Thank you to Michael for gifting a membership. Much love to you. Well, actually, on YouTube, I can tell that literally nobody gave any money whatsoever.
Oiled like a baby otter.
On Twitch, sorry. Because I've got a thing. Hang on. I'll show you the behind the scenes. Oop. Oop. So we were raided into by USA Hull. Lovely stuff. And then all of the people, and that's it. After that epic fucking rant I did about Robert Jenrick. That's political fucking passion. You won't see anything like that on any other stream. Actually, that's not true. But you won't see much like it on other streams. And if that's not worth £5 of anyone's money, I don't know what is. By the way, we'll be on with with No Justice MTG in the not too distant future, hopefully. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Just we were talking about it earlier, so yeah. I might cut out that rant I did on Jenrick and post it on YouTube. Because why not? Oh yeah, I had to turn my big light on. I say big light, just light. It's a light bulb. Which some landlords charge you a fortune to replace. To see what the fuck I was doing.
Oiled like a baby otter.
The Greens are on 93,000. Honestly, by the end of this month, they're going to have passed 100,000. And to be honest with you, we're just 5 years behind the average fucking European country anyway. All of the major kind of quote-unquote socialist and quote-unquote conservative parties have gone to the wall in most of these places. Your rant was epic. Thank you, username Entity. I do appreciate that. Yeah, everyone should go and join the Green Party as well. 100 fucking %. Hondo. Hondo. Thank you, Jean-Luc Picard, for the membership. Why is the fucking alert box not working? Well, we'll see if the alert box works at any fucking point today. I will once I get paid. Yeah, thank you. Don't worry, if you've got no money, like if you can't afford it, just the fact that you're here, chat, is amazing. And I love that for me. One notable exception is the Spanish Socialist Party because it tagged left. Well, exactly, yes, exactly. Why is the camera zoomed in? Because you're fucking dad. No, I'm only joking. Thank you for the 10 bits, It's the Morton. And thank you, Fosmos, for joining.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Victory is ours.
Why is it not fucking... Hang on. Am I having the sound issues again? Let's have a look at this. Where we go?
Hey, Zach. Chris Packham here. I just want to tell you about some...
Firstly, the fact that he's got Chris Packham on to do a bit is amazing. God bless him. Now I'll zoom back out 1 second. Chris Packham. Honestly, Chris Packham is the guy that made me care about animals. Him and Michaela Strachan on the Really Wild show. And, I'll be honest with you, Michaela Strachan was one of my early straight awakenings. Strawakenings? I wanted to pound that bitch's fucking back walls, frankly. Before I knew what the fuck that phrase even meant. The left part of your moustache needs attention with the razor. Your dad. Your fucking dad. Alright? Did Packham turn me gay? No, but I would fuck him. Just because he'd be like, oh my god, the guy from the Really Wild show. It's amazing. Italians strike for Gaza. I don't give a fuck about Bad Empanada. I don't care. He's a knob.
something really exciting. EcoTalk. It's a phone company that helps restore nature, and it's brilliant. You can find out more about it at ecotalk.co.uk.
When I think about 2 or 3 years ago, the British political system felt very different. It felt like we were really locked in a two-party system. There were a few things that happened that I think started to break down that system, and I think it's impossible to go there is one single thing. But I think there were some prominent things. And for me, one of them was when someone who had been in the Labour Party a very, very, very long time, was very associated with the Labour Party, very publicly left the Labour Party on principled reasons. So I'm not going to give a really long introduction because you know who I'm about to introduce. He's a writer, a commentator, an activist, a campaigner, a podcaster. He does everything. It's Owen Jones.
Hello.
Welcome, Owen. This is very exciting.
It is very exciting. This guy's going to go far. What do you reckon?
Podcast.
You know your audience.
Podcast.
So, Owen, I want to get
Podcast
to
friends.
hope, alternative solutions. I want to talk about the left. But first, I want to start with the grim stuff. I want to get to there. So, on the grim stuff, how was Labour conference?
I was going to say, we're taking the scenic route, are we? Wow, it was bleak. I'm not going to lie, it was bleak. Look, I've been going to the Labour Party conference for my sins. As you say, I've left the Labour Party. My mental health has improved markedly. But I've been going every... And it was odd. Maybe it was a bit like, you know, you think meeting up with an ex over over coffee, where things, you know, maybe a bit of water's under the bridge. There was no water, obviously, under that
Get some
bridge.
help.
Hey! Hey! Hello there, Mrs. Rebbe. How are you? Thank you for resubscribing with Prime for 5 months. God bless. See, I'm like, I can't do it, so... That's why I needed Sincerity Cam. Right? That's why I need this. Because I can't say things, even when I mean them, that don't sound sarcastic. So I literally need a fucking banner over my head that says, I actually mean the thing that I'm currently saying. But thank you. Kev, you're kind of giving Fiona, is there a ghost behind you? What? What's that a reference to? The most sarcastic looking bat, thank you. You're just picking on me as the only white man in Birmingham. It's a Shrek reference. A Shreference, if you will. I don't know what the fuck, you know, I don't know what that means. I prefer these long form interviews. It's better than speaking for 5 minutes. Well, you say that, but like, I'll be honest with you. Look, it's a party political broadcast, right? So, like, how inspiring do you think it can be? But actually, it is. I don't know if you saw this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is that? Did I not bookmark it? Oh, obviously not. Okay. Is Birmingham just you and rats now? Apparently, yes. Apparently so. Where are we? So, the Green Party have put together their party political broadcast. And it's like, after Jeremy Corbyn was ousted as the leader of the Labour Party, it felt bleak. Not just because someone I liked had been removed from power, because like he'd lost 2 elections, like that makes sense, I suppose. But it felt like the death of hope. Not because I'd put all of my hope in Jeremy Corbyn, because that's not the way that politics should work. I'm not, like, this wasn't like a leftist version of MAGA where it's all like, oh, it's just, we want to ride Donald Trump's cock or whatever. No. It's that the establishment had won. The establishment had shown that they were never going to accept any kind of leftist politics. And I thought that's just it then. It's dead, right? It's over. And it very much seemed that way, with the constant rightward drift of the Tory party and the Labour Party, the emergence of reform, the Lib Dems being fucking shit, etc. And the fact that I don't live in Scotland, so I haven't got an SNP, and I don't live in Wales, so I haven't got the Plaid Cymru, like I don't have an option. It felt genuinely hopeless, like hope had been destroyed. Like, I don't like to admit it, but the establishment won. They posted a big fat W and socialism was defeated. It felt grim. And then you see the rise of not just Zach Polanski, but the fact that he's able to draw people in. The fact that they are now essentially getting to 100,000 out of nowhere. Like, the party will have probably, very possibly doubled in membership by the end of the year, if it carries on at this rate. And so to see them putting out messages like this genuinely it's emotional for me. It means something.
I grew up in the north, not far from here. I remember I used to wake up with this hopeful feeling, not like I was in a cornflakes advert or anything, but there was something in the air back then, a kind of ordinary hope. I've spent the last 5 years up and down the country, listening to people on streets like this. I'm not sure we feel like that anymore. There's more a hopelessness. People who are too tired to fight, too tired to sleep. Kids going to bed hungry. Parents lying awake in the next room knowing, powerless to change things. And people say to me, hey Zach, you're the leader of a political party. What are you lot going to do about this? And I say, we need a fair taxation system. We need to tax the people with the broadest shoulders in a fair way. But they cut me off. Hey, I'm a plumber. I've been working 30 years. I'm finally doing okay. Why are you making me the problem? Or a hairdresser? I've just opened my first hair salon. Why are you taxing me? Why are you taxing my ambition? And I wondered, why did they think I was talking about them? And now I get it. It's because it's too hard to picture. You see, there are some people in this country, when they go to sleep at night, they lay their heads on the pillows, just like us. They lie in the same darkness we do. But when they sleep, something happens. It's like the economy does a little dance for them. And when they wake up, without working a third job or doing an extra shift, they are richer, much richer. In one night's sleep, they make more than the plumber and the hairdresser could earn in an entire year. More than this whole street earns in an entire year. More than this whole beautiful neighborhood could earn in an entire year. In one night's sleep without lifting a finger. That's why it's so difficult to imagine. It's obscene. That's why we need a wealth tax. Not on plumbers, not on small businesses, not on ambition. Just a 1% tax on the assets of the super rich will help reduce inequality, give us warmer...
Getting emotional, man. Oh. Oh. No, he's got me in the feels. Oh, the hope. It's the hope that kills you, man. I can't open myself up to this again. It's like a previously scorned lover. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know if I can do this again. Prepared to be open and vulnerable again.
Homes, an NHS that works, free and universal childcare and air our kids can breathe. And by the way, if anyone tries to say to you, won't the super rich just leave? A more equal society, it's good for them too. Since the pandemic began, billionaire wealth in this country has doubled. Meanwhile, millions use food banks and warm banks as a lifeline. Some politicians seem confused. Do they serve the billionaires or do they serve you? I'm not confused. Ordinary people can't wait any longer. I'm here to make this call, but I can't do it alone. Will you stand with me? Let's bring back that feeling and make hope normal again.
Oh. I'm not even crying. You're fucking crying. Shut up. God damn it, that was good. So yeah, go and join the fucking Green Party for the love of God. Yes, I can hear you, Clem H. Fandango. Do you ever think it would have been better if the British left had had a level of commitment to Corbyn that the American right has to Trump? Like you say, it made sense to remove him as leader after 2 losses, but given he knew the establishment were going to retake the party as soon as he was gone, would it have not made more sense to be like, we don't care if he loses 15 elections, the Labour Party isn't worth anything without him in charge? I don't think anyone benefits from slavish devotion to one person. Okay? And to be fair to the Labour Party, they did elect a person who said that he was going to do the same things that Jeremy Corbyn did. Said he stood for the same things that Jeremy Corbyn did. Said he was going to make the ethical case for socialism. So the Labour Party did vote for a continuation. It's just they didn't get that continuation. They were lied to. And they were very fucking gullible. They trusted a lawyer. More fool them. I don't want a king, both literally or figuratively. I don't want an idol. I don't want a hero. I don't want a spiritual fucking guru. What I want is someone who gives a fuck. That was the point I was making within my rant about Robert Jenrick, is that he doesn't give a fuck. He spent an hour and a half in Birmingham and wants to fucking lecture us about it being a racist slum or whatever. Like, fuck you. You don't care. You couldn't give less of a shit about this city or its inhabitants. And it shows. And that's why you're going to get precisely 0 votes here at the next election, you fucking evil little goblin. And Zach Polanski seems to care. Jeremy Corbyn did seem to care. I'm not entirely sure he does anymore. Whether it's age or just poor decision making, I don't know. But it's the Your Party thing has been very disappointing. What I want is someone who gives a fuck. Because, like, at least if he fucks up, I know it's because he gives a shit. It's not malfeasance. It's not corruption. It's not selfishness. Like, I can forgive a mistake. That's not a problem. That's why I was prepared to give leverage to Jeremy Corbyn when he made mistakes, because then he definitely did. Because he gave a shit. His heart was in the right place. An honest mistake is fine. It's deliberate evil that's the problem. And unfortunately, outside of Zach Polanski, all of the other major political parties are run by evil people who wish to do evil, just in slightly different ways. When I say major, I mean national. We'll ignore the, or not ignore, but we'll put to one side the local parties or the national party, the independence parties and things, because that's a different matter. But in terms of the Tories, the Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, certainly the Northern Irish parties by and large, or the ones that sit in Parliament anyway, are dickheads who don't give a fuck about the people and just want to fuck us over to one degree or another, in one form or another. And I don't want a hero to come and fucking save us, because then a hero can be killed, either metaphorically or literally. What I want is a change to a system which means that we don't have these evil bastards bubbling to the top all the time. In a just world, Robert Jenrick would not only not be in Parliament, he'd be the laughingstock of his local town. A moron, a buffoon, an inadequate. But he's not. Because he went to the right school and he knows the right people. So apparently he's a thought leader. What a fucking joke. If he ever has an original thought, that might be possible.
It was, I mean, I think a few things I'd say is it was, you know, you had to find the members because there were so many corporate lobbyist types there. So, you know, we were trying, every year we vox pop people, although I did get banned this year after I interviewed Luke Akehurst.
How would you describe deliberately shooting children in the head and the chest? How would you describe that?
I'm just not sure I believe that anyone has deliberately done that.
So why have dozens of US-based medics reported, having served in Gaza, that Palestinian children have been shot in the head and the chest deliberately by Israeli snipers?
I don't believe that that's happened.
So,
have I fingered the Tory party? No, because I haven't gotten onto a hype train. If I get onto a hype train, I'll happily finger the twitching corpse of the Tory party. But much like spice, the generosity needs to flow. And if it does not, then the fingering will also not flow. Your dad.
So why are they saying it?
I don't know.
Why? So you know better than genocide scholars and medical experts, medics who served in Gaza.
Well, I know what.
Again, that's not the shade of a person. That is not that. Look at him. That's not a human being. I don't know what creature this is we see before us, but it's not a human. It's some sort of blood pressure demon. Is this like the shadow secretary for I don't know, fucking heart attack incoming? I don't know what's going. Well, it's not Shadow anymore. He would just be the Secretary of State for the incoming heart attack. I don't know. It's not even Gammon. Like if I saw Gammon that colour, I'd be like, this is a bit off, I think. I wouldn't want Gammon that shade. I'd take it back and cook it. This is not done. I did not order a rare Gammon. Is it ableist to bully Tomato Face? No! He's doing a genocide. No, it fucking isn't. No, it absolutely isn't. He's a piece of shit. It's a Savaloy. It is. He is. Oh my god, he is the same colour and I presume consistency as Savaloy. This man is a pink sausage. Release the pink sausages.
I believe.
So many members just didn't want to speak to us. And I guess there's fewer and fewer people maybe who are politically aligned with me, but also they knew they had nothing to defend. You know, they knew that they couldn't possibly defend the record of this catastrophic government. What were they going to say? Oh yeah, scrapping the universal winter fuel payment. Woo! Trying to attack disabled people. Woo! You know, keeping the two-child benefit cap, which drives hundreds of thousands of kids into poverty. Woo! Arming a genocide. You know, they know they can't defend the record. They know that their leader has no vision, no principles, no moral compass. They know that no prime minister has become so unpopular so quickly. They know that this is one of the most hated governments already.
Oh! Just jizzed a little bit. Kaboomski! Guess who's on Question Time tomorrow, mother flippers? I mean, there's also this cunt again, which is really annoying. But boom! Fuck yes. I just pissed and camed and pooed in my pants. Let's go! Fuck yes. I might do a football stream from like 8 till 10 or whatever, because we got to wait for No Justice to get back and then do the Question Time after that on my normal channels. Although I keep saying that and then I forget to do the sports one. But I will try. I think England are playing. I don't know. Anyway.
In British democratic history. So the atmosphere was pretty bad, I would say. And when we tried to chat to certain Labour politicians, they got very, very angry. And you know what? Because, you know, I'm a lefty, they know I'm a critic of Starmer. If things were going well, they'd be rubbing it in my face, they'd be triumphalist. They weren't like that. They were angry, they were bitter. You know, these did not...
Oh yeah, no, they'll definitely interject. Like, Zach Polanski won't get through his first sentence before what's her name pipes up with, "Oh, are you sure about that?" No, she'll let Zia Yusuf go off on some horrible racist rant, and then, you know, for 5 minutes and that uninterrupted, and Zach Polanski won't get through the first fucking syllable before she's interjecting.
Come across like people who just won a landslide victory through our electoral system, getting 1/3 of the vote and 2/3 of the seats. They came across like they'd just been defeated. These are sore winners.
Gosh. I think about sometimes when I talk to people who have been in the Labour Party for a very long time, and they go, I know you're right, I just can't leave the Labour Party. It's my life, it's my blood. What for you kind of made you go, enough is enough, it's time to move on? Or was it
I still really want to talk with a different bias and the politics social guy. Like, I need to talk to those two guys. Like, what the fuck is your defence for this government, really? Come on now. Although saying that, I saw a great bit of Kevnip. Completely mental, obviously, because they often are. Boom! Kevnip! So, we've got... Where do you even start? You've got a Union Jack at the top left. George's flag at the top right. Boom. I mean, already already it's got flunt written all over it. Delicious. R.I.P. London with a jauntily angled red cross either side. You've then got, is that Keir Starmer with red glowing eyes and
Stop it. Get some help.
And horns? In case you didn't quite get the demon message from the eyes and the blue skin, right? And then a tattoo on his head that says 2, the number 2, Tia Keir. 2 Tia Keir. Absolutely delicious activity. Khan and Starmer have fucked you, but it's spelled FCUK. So you see, so it's not the swear word, so he doesn't get done for like public indecency. Ooh. Like, what the fuck? Honk if you hate them. Can I get my tits out instead? Is that an option? Starmer stop the boats with the O of stop and boats with a red line through it like it's a fucking Brazilian football kit. And then it's a voxel, naturally. And then what does that say? Scam van blockers. Scam van blockers. Is Scam van blockers a Dutchman? Is he? Did he play up front for the Netherlands team in the early 90s? Scam van blockers. I don't know. Then it's got FC UK Khan. Wake up people! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! What's PPM? It's got PPM and then the lines. You've got 2 red lines through it like it's a cross. So what is PPM? Do we know what that is? Chat? I don't know what PPM means. It does look a bit like it says step the bats. That is true. Okay. No digital ID with... What is that drawing of? I think that's just a plant. That weird little drawing is just a plant next to no digital ID. Okay. And then LTNs with the lines crossed through it again. I don't know what that is, because that's not like ULEZ or something, is it? London Transport Networks. No, I don't know. And then RIPBE. What the fuck's BE? Why do I need to know your weird fucking thing? Make it obvious. You've got so many words, and yet so much of it is undecipherable rubbish. RIPBE. British Energy? Bengali elephants. I don't know. British Empire? I suppose it could be, but that's really cryptic. Why not just have a normal fucking number plate? Because that's shit. LTNs is low traffic neighbourhoods. Big erections. RIP Bad Empanada. That's, well, it's just a threat then. Just a threat against Bad Empanada. I doubt it's British Empire. Well, I mean, I don't know what else it would be. British... Emigrants? Probably not. And then Not My Mayor with a rather unflattering depiction of Khan. But at least it's not as racist as it might otherwise have been, to be fair. R.I.P. Barley Irk? Like Charlie Kirk, but it's just the wrong letters. I don't know. R.I.P. Back Entrance. Yeah, he had a particularly spicy curry that day. And
Oiled like a baby otter.
His back pipe was absolutely ruined. That and the cock, obviously. Thank you, Alex Otter, for 13 months of membership over on the YamTubes. And thank you, Fuzzmoz87, for subscribing with Prime on the Twitch machines. Much love to you, thank you. If someone else does a thing now, we'll get onto a hype train, and then I can finger the Tory party. I think. I don't know. Anyway, so I saw that, and I just thought that's just funny. I need to show chat that. That's fucking hilarious. Absolute knobhead. Like, what makes someone do that to their car? Because, like, as soon as I see that on your car, I know you're a knobhead. Like, I don't need to know anything else about you. I see that on your car, and I know you are a fucking mental. I don't need to speak to you. I don't need to know your fucking name or anything about you. You're a wanker. It is very American. Yeah, we need to stop the yankification. Like, in Britain, we used to have, right? We used to be a real fucking country, right? We used to have proper mentalists. Proper British-style, eccentric fucking loonies, right? Absolutely wonderful. Scotland still has them. Scotland has got a thriving mentalist industry. God bless them for it, right? But in the rest of the UK, I think we've lost our like domestic lunatic industry, and it's a damn shame. And now all this yankified shit's coming over. Make Britain great again. Did you see the fucking wankers? Oh my god, did you see the wankers? You can tell it's American because they think Soho in London is where prostitution happens now. Fucking mental. What was Charlie Kirk's Turning Point? Turning Point UK Soho. What were they called? There's something like the Lord's Army or something. I don't know. If I just put in Soho, Soho protest, maybe. Why can't I find this? Chat, do you know what I'm talking about? They had like a fucking weird anti-prostitution like get together in Soho, which by the way, like all of central London has been gentrified to fuck. There's no sex workers there. Is this it? No, that's anti-migrant. No. Anyway, they... Anti-sex work protest London. Scuffle? No, it wasn't from 4 weeks ago. It was from like a week ago or something, wasn't it? Let's go this month. Why can't I fucking find this? Why isn't this on YouTube? This should definitely be on YouTube. Oh, here they are, the nubbins. Yeah. Thank you, it's the Morton.
Parade, rest! Jesus showed his love. The world sinners. He died for us. Have a great mercy. He died the death that is coming to us all. 3 days later, he rose from the dead.
Yeah, this is just yank shit. Take your weirdness and fuck off back to America. Like, just be gone. Be gone from me, weirdos. Shoo. Bad yanks. No. Hang on, what are we doing?
Stop it. Get some help.
Maybe I should. Yeah, it's just yank nonsense, man. No, people ranting about Jesus and shit. It's just boring. No one wants that shit. As the only white man in Birmingham, I can confirm, nobody wants it. Fact. Yeah, we're going to be on with No Justice in just a second.
Howdy, friendo. I hear you're an endangered species now, Kev.
I am the only white man in all of Birmingham. This is true.
It's true. I
I'm
mean,
being
like,
hunted by the Muslimics as we
they'll treat
speak.
you like a snow leopard.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I'm Greenpeace are going to do a protest for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Save the Kev. Anyway, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. I got. Sorry, I'm starting a little bit later than I would have done. There was someone from the Green Party, from Greens Organised, had come up to Broxtowe to meet up with a bunch of people from our constituency Green Party at the pub. So I thought I would at least show my face, given they were around the corner. But they started at like 8:30. So by the time I started walking back, it would have got me to past. But now that I'm here, I can indeed speak with the lesser spotted cat.
True. On that point, thank you to Soswald Snake for resubscribing for 19 months. And we're on a hype train. If you get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger the Tory party because it's fucking stone dead.
That's so true. It's so true.
God almighty.
Speaking of, it's going to be funny because there's this question time tomorrow is going to be an absolute fucking riot.
Yeah. I was just looking at the lineup. Yeah, we got Zach and Zia Yusuf, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be so fun. They've got like the most boring man from the Labour Party. I don't know if you've ever heard James Murray speak.
No, is he more or less terrible than McFadden?
I would say he's McFadden level. I think they're very equal in terms of in terms of the level of soporificness.
Gutted. That's a nightmare. You don't want to be compared to McFadden in any way whatsoever.
No, you really don't. Although he looks like more of a human being, to be fair. He actually looks like an actual human, just a very boring one. Whereas the Tory is Nigel Huddleston.
I don't know who the fuck is that.
Exactly, who the fuck is that? You know.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be the Zach and Zia Yusuf show, and then Annabelle Denham.
Yeah.
Who is actually there is previous beef between Zach Polanski and Annabelle Denham. Zach Polanski once called Annabelle Denham a racist on LBC, and Ian Dale threatened to kick him off the panel.
Thanks, Ian. Brilliant. Kick off the gay Jewish man. That's definitely a good look for you. Anyway.
I mean, turns out, as you were discussing earlier with Turn Left, anti-Semitism is fine when it's left-wing Jews.
True. I did have rather a good rant. I might clip it up. Not clip it up. I might clip it out about our friend Robert Jenrick and his, let's say, not very pleasant views about Birmingham.
Yeah, so do you want to take us through the long and short of what Jenrick said? Because it's funny how we discussed how awful Robert Jenrick was on stream, like on Tuesday, and I put up the segment that night as well. And just after we'd uploaded the segment, this footage of him, or this recorded audio of him saying some pretty whack shit, went really public.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Where's the actual racist clip? Rather than me explaining to you what he said, why not play what he actually said?
Let me just make sure that I actually have the right screen on, because I just went to change from just my face to the camera in the corner, and it was just showing everybody my stream layout. Well, obviously doesn't really show people anything important, but it was not the actual screen that would show if you shared your screen. Yeah. Thank you, Tyre Fraser, for the $1.99. You really slayed on Navarra. I hope you saw the comments. I didn't see the comments. I was too busy ranting, but I thank you very much for the kind words and the £2.
Why is YouTube so fucking impossible to search anything for now? Like, it literally, it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't give you anything that you ask for.
I think the Guardian article has the audio on it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because I talked about this on the thing. I just had like notes for the slum comments cause great upset. Oh no, I've got to sign into the.
You just I do it later though, right?
Do what? Sorry.
You can just click where it says "I'll do it later," right?
It has its good points and its bad points.
Oh, I hate the world. Honestly.
I do too, to be fair. It's, if it wasn't for the lovely people I've been spending some time with this afternoon, this evening even, then I would also be in the same fit of rage.
Yeah. The Bishop of Birmingham. No. What? I literally can't. I'm gonna take a shit on my chest, chat. Fuck it.
Robert Jenrick, Handsworth. Yeah, the audio's on this Guardian article. There we go.
Oh, thank you. Honest to God, this is.
Pop it in the.
I mean, I was doing the turn left, and it was lovely. But thankfully, we got through like 80% of the show. Like all of the main bits were done, and we were doing the comments. And then my electric decided to glitch out and turn the fucking computer off. I managed to pop back in again, which was fine. But like. Oh.
That's happened to me where my meters run out.
I went down.
I've had my meter run out midstream, which has been funny.
No, I'm not on a meter. It's just it like glitched completely. Hang on, where are we? Right, so. Oh,
God, he's got such a fucking punchable face, hasn't he? In Minecraft.
Well, obviously, political violence is terrible and bad.
I'm just saying that it would be enjoyable if one did do it, but I'm not saying you should.
Yeah.
So this is the glory, in the undiluted majesty of Bobby J's comments.
To Handsworth in Birmingham the other day to do a video on litter, and it was absolutely appalling. It's as close as I've come to a slum in this country. But the other thing that I noticed there was that it was one of the worst integrated places that I've ever been to. In fact, in the hour and a half that I was filming with news there, I didn't see another white face. And that's not the kind of country I want to live in. I want to live in a country where people are properly integrated. It's not about the colour of your skin or your faith. Of course it isn't.
Well,
but I want people to be living along.
Sounds like it is.
Yeah,
if your judgment for whether or not a community is integrated or not is been triggered by the fact that you didn't see white faces, then clearly it is about skin colour.
Yeah, like why would you mention it if it wasn't about that? Why would you even bring it up?
Alongside each other, not parallel lives. That's not the right way we want to live as a country.
Yeah, and again, it's literally he just means white people are integrated, brown people are not. Which is interesting given that, trust me, I live in this city and there are white enclaves which are not integrated. There are posh white people who, frankly, I don't even consider brethren in terms of being from the city. Because they're basically not.
Well, exactly, especially given that it used to be that classes lived alongside each other in our large-scale public housing. Now we have no council housing, and so only the poorest of the poorest live in council housing, and there is a private rented market full of poor people, and there are a bunch of posh owner-occupiers, and that's the kind of class apartheid that we've created in terms of the way in which housing works in this country.
Yes, indeed. And now I find denizen of the city. And it's an area of the city I have a lot of fond memories of. My grandmother lived on Lozells Road, which is literally the road that officially is the boundary between Lozells and Handsworth. And I grew up playing football and cricket on weekends in Handsworth Park with like Asian guys and black guys and white guys. It was a genuine melting pot. And this is the thing. It's how you operate in that area or how you approach the topic, right? Because for me, it was fascinating to see different types of people. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting to know Rastas and stuff. Whereas he just sees black people and brown people and he's scared by that because he's a fucking racist. Right? It is undoubtedly a very poor area and just to head the, oh, it's the truth, people off at the pass. Yes, we know that white people make up a very small percentage of the population. Both in terms of the average for the city and the average for the nation. We know that. But that was true when I was a child. That was true 30 fucking years ago. It was true 40 years ago. This is not a new thing. And if either Robert Jenrick or anyone from the Conservative Party had dared to give a shit about this city at any point during that 40 years, they may have known that too. But they don't. He came here for an hour and a half to do his weird, like, clickbait, racist, fucking poverty safari bit, and then left, and deigned it upon himself, this private schoolboy prick, this inadequate, give me the confidence of an average white man type fucking deal, right? To tell us what our city is and isn't. Now, I tell you for what, I would take one of those people over 1 million Robert Jenricks. And I would also just point out to him that the white middle class and upper class enclave that he and his people live in is far less diverse, is far less integrated, and frankly I would consider far less British than the people of Handsworth and Newtown and Lozells. I guarantee you that much.
And on top of this as well, like, his start for this is, I was going to talk about littering. Essentially, his line is about the breakdown of the social contract. Of course, outside of him just making racist comments like these, his thing is that the social contract is broken down. And I'm like, yeah, like, you broke it. You literally have your biggest hero as Margaret Thatcher. She was patient zero for the breakdown of the social contract. And you go up here and your first thought is, well, this is basically like a slum in this country. I'm like, yeah, that's you! You did this!
Yeah, it is a poor area, there's no doubt about that. But it's his policies that made it such. It's not just obviously going back all the way to Margaret Thatcher. And it must be borne in mind that racism and the Tory party in Birmingham are by no means new bedfellows. It was the Rivers of Blood speech was literally given in Birmingham. A lot of the kind of Tory party of old, the old, if you want an N-word for a neighbour, vote Labour, again, was a by-election in the Birmingham suburbs. The Tory party have always tried to use racial tensions and cause racial tensions to try and get their own way, because ultimately they want to avoid talking about economics, because they know that their economic policies are fucking disgusting. But it's their economic policies which have caused this. Previous waves of immigration into these areas, like Handsworth and Alum Rock, were from Ireland, right? In the late 19th and early 20th centuries. And those people were economically upwardly mobile because there were jobs for them. So you could earn money, you could save money, you could send your kid to a school. You had social advancement. It allowed for upward mobility, which meant that the Irish communities eventually earned a bit of money and moved out and were replaced by other migrants. Because that's the poor area of the city. That's the area that the poorest have to go and live in, because it's the only area they can afford to live in. And so the removal of the traditional industries, which fueled the economy of these areas, has decimated that upward mobility. The fact that we know that people face racial barriers in terms of renting and trying to buy in other more affluent areas, at least in part because of the fact that within school catchment areas, lots of middle-class white people buy up those properties so that they can send, you know, the Ophelia to the local, fancy schools. And also the selling off of council houses mean that realistically the council couldn't do a policy of like trying to genuinely mix people together, because essentially they don't have enough housing as it is to just house people generally, let alone try and do some weird thing where they have to have a certain percentage of white people or black people or any other kind of people. Robert Jenrick doesn't give a fuck about this city, he never has, and he shows that very conclusively with his comments. And ultimately this is why the Tory party will get no votes in this city. And it's not like there aren't right-wing people here, because the Reform Party will hoover up votes. So
also, like, they are perfectly happy to vote for Conservatives if those Conservatives aren't giant racists. Like, Andy Street was literally the mayor, and he made some really good comments in response to Robert Jenrick that's well worth listening to after this as well. Right? It's not like they're happy. It's not like they're kind of ideologically against a bunch of the policies that these might represent, especially the more kind of liberal end of the Tories. But do you think they're ever going to support somebody who's this racist towards them, like Robert Jenrick is? Especially given as well that they boasted. Rishi Sunak literally was talked on camera boasting about the fact that he took money out of these poor areas and sent it into Royal Tunbridge Wells so that they could get more of the council grant block funding. Yeah. They literally redirected money from these poor slums, as Robert Jenrick would call them, to rich, affluent Tory areas, and are going to come here and blame the fact that it's diverse for why that is, rather than the idea that, you know, maybe the state policy should actually redistribute from rich areas to poor areas and not fucking the other way around.
Indeed. And there are a couple of other points as to the actual video he created, the littering issue. Firstly, litter is not a new thing in Birmingham. Unfortunately, we've been underfunded for a very long time, but especially we've been underfunded recently because of the massive slashing to council budgets that happened under the Tory government that he was a part of, which then meant we were in a far less stable position to deal with the current financial issues that we were having in the city. which meant that we've had to make massive cuts everywhere, as well as massively increasing council tax. So that's obviously not great. And secondly, in his video that he made, even though he claims not to have seen a white person anywhere, most of the people he talks to in the video are white.
So he's just lying.
Yeah, he's just talking shit. Yeah. Because essentially, I don't know whether he handpicked white people to go to these places to like talk to them, and therefore he's not counting them as locals because they're from like Harborne or Edgbaston or one of the white areas of the city. But either way, he definitely did see some white people because you can go and watch his fucking video where there's white people. So unless he did that with his eyes closed, I think he might be talking rubbish.
It's almost like that he is somebody who might have been in DMs with fascist accounts on Twitter and is ideologically aligned in a similar fashion. Who could possibly tell?
So 7% majority. What? No, white people are about 10% in Handsworth. Again, not a massive, difference to what it was back when I used to go there much more regularly. I still have family there, so I go at Christmas because you kind of have to visit family, right? So I went last time I went was December, and because it's one of those areas where unless you have to go there, you don't really go there because there's nothing special there, right? Like if you wanted to go, you can go shopping there. There's plenty of shopping there, but I can get all of those things closer to home. So why would I bother? Type areas, So I don't go there unless I have to. And it's not because I'd be the only white person there, because I wouldn't be the only white person there. In fact, there's a great... Oh my God, I'm just remembering now. There was an amazing video that I watched called Birmingham's No-Go Zone, where, again, another Cockney, another fucking Southerner, came to our city trying to ramp up fears. And the only time he faced any actual physical violence... whilst he was in, I think was it Handsworth or Lozells, maybe? He was basically in the north of the city. Because I live in the south of the city and those areas are in the north. In the north of this, the only time he faced any physical violence was from a white person who was taking drugs as this guy was trying to film him. And he was like, "Don't fucking film me, I've got drugs, you prick." And like punched him. And he walked around for like 2 days around a supposed no-go zone. So he goed into the zone that was supposedly a no-go zone for whites, and he didn't face anything. Like, people looked at him weird because he had a camera, and that's like weird. Why are you filming us? But they didn't say anything or do anything to him.
And again, it's funny that they talk about like no-go zones for white people, which have never existed. That's never been a thing. That's a total made-up fabrication.
Yeah.
And yet, last year they literally had people, fascists, Nazis on the street, stopping people's cars and only letting white people in.
Yes.
We do not have a problem with communities of black or brown people excluding white people. We do have a problem the other way around.
Well, I said this on Turn Left. I assure you would be treated far more hostilely as a black person walking through the enclaves of the rich part of Moseley than you would as a white person walking through Handsworth.
Exactly.
If you're a white person walking through Handsworth, like, unless you're up to some shit, people will just leave you the fuck alone. Whereas if you're a black person walking through those nice little... I mean, we don't really have gated communities, but for want of a better phrase, that's essentially what they are. The police will be called. Because why would a black man be on this street?
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex Otter, with £2, who says, "Do you turn white if you integrate?" That is how it works, yes. I'm the only integrated person in this city. Fact. And I don't...
And also, like, when it comes to the ethnic makeup there, and he's saying, "I don't see white people," I'm like, again, it just shows you the kind of views that he has of non-white people. It's like, well, they're all the same.
Yeah.
If they're not white, then they're all the same. It doesn't matter if they're black or brown, or whether they're from the subcontinent, or whether they're from the Middle East, or whether they're from the Far East, or whether they're Hindu, or whether they're Muslim, or whether they're Sikh, right? That's all just non-white to him.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. He's essentially judging Britishness by the colour of these people's skin, because he didn't talk to any of them. Why would he do that? That would be like to give a fuck about their opinions in any way. No. And he was just there to make like clickbaity shit for his weird culture war nonsense, because he wants to be Tory minister. He wants to be the leader of a dying Tory party, obviously. So he might have seen like one of the Ukrainian refugees that's moved into the area, and thought that was a white person, therefore like felt a kindred spirit with them, even though they're not British. And having been walked past 10 black guys who were born here and felt that they weren't British, because this is sort of emblematic, I think. Hey, one second. Pardon me. This is emblematic of the kind of very rightward skewing in conservatism in Britain. They're not even pretending to be civic nationalists anymore. They're just openly ethno-nationalist, many of them. They're just saying black people can't be British. They're just saying that openly now. And he's chasing the votes of those exact fucking people. So when I call him a racist and when I call him a fascist, I do so very pointedly, because that is the thing that he's trying to fight for. And I don't even know that he necessarily believes it, because I don't know that he believes anything. I think he's happy to play into it. It's like if Hitler did Hitlerism, but without believing it.
For the memes.
Yeah, for the
clout.
Well, exactly, for the clout, because he wanted to be leader. That's it. He's trying to stir up fucking race hate in my city so that he can take over a dying party.
I mean, I do think that he might be politically engaged with it, hence why he was in DMs with Inevitable West over on Twitter. I think he might
he's
genuinely be
networking.
lost in the source.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's been a lot since the pandemic of just right-wingers just becoming radicalized into the far right on Twitter. Like, we had members of the House of Lords, David Frost, tweeting out about how you can tell how Britain is ruined because of the UK thing, like spelled Y-O-O-K-A-Y, which is essentially just when Asian people say UK, we hate it, they're racist, you know? And I said, you can find out about the UK phenomenon by following this Twitter meme account. And I'm just like, these people have had their brains rotted by Twitter, by like Elon's Nazi Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, I'll just turn off my noise alert. Thank you, Jack Mello. Very, very generous with your 20 gifties there. But we don't need to hear "Oiled like a baby otter" 20 times.
That's true.
Thank you, Kelly. Very generous. Who says, can confirm, grew up in the 90s black country. Just for Americans, that's not black as in the people there are black. Although lots of them are black. That's not why it's called that. It's confusing and historical, but like the All Blacks rugby team, it's not a racial thing. Shut up. Grew up in the 90s black country, excuse the pun. My mother is Irish, father is British Jamaican, grew up on an estate with a community of Sikh/Hindu, Indian, Chinese, Nigerian neighbours. Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. That's that for me. That's the thing. I was fascinated growing up in partly in Handsworth. Again, I'd spend weekends there rather than living there, but just this melting pot of people. I didn't know what the fuck a Rasta was. I was introduced to them, which is like the whitest way of putting it, but you get the idea. And you know, people from like India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, places I'd never even heard of, and it was fascinating. And you go and play football, and because of the lack of space, you'd have like 20-a-side football matches that would just sort of break out. It was fucking mental. It was lovely. And again, as white people, we weren't fucking dealt with poorly. At no point did we face any kind of racial discrimination. Because the thing is, if you don't treat people like they're scum, they don't treat you like you're scum.
It's really simple, isn't it?
It's crazy, that, isn't it? It's almost like ethical reciprocity is just a sort of natural process for humans.
Very true, very true. And it's interesting as well, like, there's a reason why Robert Jenrick has to go on trips to cities. He has to go on trips to London or trips to Birmingham to film his content.
Yeah.
It's because fundamentally the centre of the kind of politics we're seeing from people like Jenrick is that more suburban or rural areas are scared that they'll end up looking like cities. So, of course, as you said before, cities where the jobs are, people who are coming here, they're going to move where the service sector jobs are, post-deindustrialization, whatever it is, right? They're going to go where the population centers are. Again, which makes it much easier to integrate, by the way, if you're in a big community full of lots of people rather than these kind of tiny little dingly dells that people like Robert Jenrick seem to come from. Even though technically he was born in Wolverhampton, but he's been in...
Oh, I knew he was a fucking wrong un.
Literally, but he's been in like the rural areas for far too long, or like the kind of post-urban areas or the non-urban areas. And fundamentally, they don't live in our cities. I've lived in cities for my entire adult life.
Yep.
And I lived very close to a very large market town in High Wycombe when I was growing up, which is also very diverse, right? None of us who've lived in these areas our lives have this kind of gut weird reaction about seeing diverse communities in the way that Jenrick and other Tories do. But they do live, as you say, in gated communities with blinkered existence. And they fundamentally don't understand that none of us care. None of us who live in Nottingham or Leeds or in London or in Manchester or in Birmingham, none of us care about the fact that there might be fewer white faces than if we were in Newark or if we were in Bishop's Stortford or whether we were in Welwyn Garden City. Like, none of us care because these are our neighbours. We get on well. We this is part of our community. But you guys are scared about what might happen to your areas of the country, even though it's not happening. These areas I talked about, like the Saffron Walden's of this world, they're also like 95% white. It's not happening to you. It's happening to us, and we don't care.
Well, exactly. This is the thing. I'm much more offended by this fucking outsider turning up and talking shit than I've ever been with the fact that some black people exist. Like, I'm fine with the black people existing. I'm not fine with fucking sneering southern wankers turning up. Although, again, apparently he was born in fucking Wolverhampton, which, again, will not go down well here. But this sneering fucking Westminster shitbag turning up, trying to do his weird fucking safari fucking racism and poverty for clickbait culture war stuff, and then turning around and calling it a slum. You created the poverty, you prick. God damn it, it's annoying.
Yeah, turns out when you strip away all of the social infrastructure, it leads to social decline.
Yeah.
Wow, what a fucking turnout for the books. Should we watch the Andy Street clip? Because it's just crazy that there are still liberal Tories out there. Very few of them. Some of them survived the Johnson purges. But, like, it's just... why is no one in the Tories, apart from Street, pushing back on this?
Because they're all doing the same... They're committing the same mistake that Labour are doing. By tacking constantly to the right, to the right, to the right. Trying to chase votes that are gone. They're with the Reform Party now. You're not getting those back. Why would they vote for diet reform when they can just vote for reform? If that's the kind of policy they want, why would they go with your half-assed version of that?
I mean, in this point, if Jenrick gets his way, the Tories will win the far-right arms race. They're already talking about deploying fucking ICE onto the streets, trying to one-up the Tories on this. It's like, whereas Labour are chasing reform, like, the Tories are taking 2 steps ahead of reform at this point. It's crazy. Of course, they won't convince the public because they have a record of failure, but it's a nightmare. It's only going to get worse. It really is. And there are people, like, the fact that we have to rely on fucking Michael Heseltine to speak up about this, like arch Thatcherite, like right-wing goon Michael Heseltine to come out and say, maybe the Tories aping racism is bad, shows you how fucked we are.
Yeah. Why won't it... Okay, so I've literally typed in Andy Street Jenrick. I don't know what more I need to type to get the fucking clip of Andy Street talking about Robert Jenrick.
I think it was on Newsnight. There we go. I've got the clip. I'll pop in the DMs.
But is it just me, or is YouTube fucking me?
I don't think it's on YouTube. I think it's on Twitter.
But why wouldn't it be...
I don't know. It's weird. Some things just end up on Twitter but not on YouTube.
Just piss on me, chat. Honestly. Fucking Christ almighty. Right, okay.
Like, it's worth pointing out, too, that you're talking about all of these kind of material conditions that have led to the standard of living decreasing in a lot of these diverse areas due to the fact of the kind of areas of the country that they're in, the demographics involved in terms of the kind of work that's available and the poor redistribution from the rich areas of country to the poor areas of the country.
Yeah.
And this is why, partly, a lot of these Muslim communities turned against Labour. Like, it wasn't even that Gaza was the only issue. It may have been the thing that broke the camel's back, right? But these places have been Labour for ages, and so far, what's it given them? These areas have just been left behind.
Yeah.
No wonder that they were offered a way out of it politically that broke away from the entire Uni Party.
Well, exactly.
And they took that chance.
Well, and not just that, but in Birmingham, we've had Labour councils, other than there was a brief period of Tory Lib Dem coalition, which predated the National Coalition. We had a forewarning. We've had basically Labour councils unbroken for like 50 fucking years because it's a Labour city, right? And even during the time of the coalition, Labour was still technically the largest party, but they were kind of outdone, speaking, you know. Anyway, they had a plurality, but just not a majority with anyone else. And so they, the people of this city, who are the poorer in the city, have had Labour government shit on them, have had Labour council shit on them, and now have had their council tax jacked up to fuck, and not had their bins collected for 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah, I can understand them looking for alternatives, whether that be, unfortunately, Reform, or fortunately the Green Party, or your party, or the Workers' Party, or some other independent pro-Palestine person, whatever. Because why the fuck would you vote for the same wankers who are shitting on you right now?
Exactly, like they had shown that they didn't really have that much care for the community, but they loyally voted Labour forever because they recognised the racism of the Conservatives. And then Keir Starmer stood up and said Israel has the right to murder children, and so they were like, yeah, okay, this is enough. I can't stand by this anymore. And you know what? Labour only have themselves to blame.
Yeah.
Because this could have been fixed, right?
Also,
this could have been fixed by Tony Blair when they were in government, and they didn't. They still allowed deindustrialisation to continue. They still allowed the centralisation of wealth within the financial sector in London. There was
still continued the sell-off
you know?
of council housing, because again, my nan lived in the 90s in a council house in Handsworth, or technically Lozells, back when there was council housing. Both her house and virtually every other house on that road, I believe, is now in private ownership. There is no council housing.
Good evening, Victoria. And yes, I was indeed mayor for 7 years, and I was very proud to be mayor of the most diverse place in Britain, a Conservative mayor with that background.
To be fair, he was not elected by Birmingham, though. He was the mayor of West Midlands, and he was mostly elected by the Shires. But either way, he was still technically the mayor of the broader West Midlands region. And it is diverse, and this is the thing. Robert Jenrick goes on about integration. He doesn't mean integration, he just means whiteness. Because if he did, there are plenty of white areas that are far less melting pots. There are far less people getting along in those areas. But he doesn't care about that.
Putting it bluntly, Robert's wrong. It's a place I know very well, Handsworth. It's come a hell of a long way in the 40 years since the last civil disturbances there, and it's actually a very integrated place. If you go along the main streets there, you will see Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, a lot of them of African and Caribbean extract, and of course, or origin, and of course, white people as well. It is actually one of the most successfully integrated places. Brilliant civic society, brilliant faith leadership.
He also said it.
Yeah, there's no doubt there are tensions, right? There have been running tensions between black communities and Asian communities and stuff like that. But again, it's largely based on poverty and the fact there are so few jobs and so little housing. There is going to be tension in those areas, yeah.
I mean, from what I'd read, most of the tension was between non-white communities and white police. From what I'd read.
Well, that is true. I'm just talking about like the ordinary kind of civvy society. But yes, the police... Again, the police very differently in Handsworth than they do in Harborne or in Edgbaston or Moseley, because the kind of racialised way in which the police have always operated. That racism you saw in Charing Cross is not located just in Charing Cross.
Exactly.
The phrase "all cops are bastards" does include the word "all."
Some of the worst slums he'd ever seen. What do you make of that?
I think he was trying to make a point which I don't agree with. If you go to the schools in Handsworth, I've been to a number recently, you see incredible hope, optimism, and people taking part in education, which is based around British values and thinking about how they can make a contribution to the future of their...
Now, he's making good points here, but this phrase, British values, needs to be analysed, because what does that fucking mean?
Nothing.
Like...
Meaningless.
It's in the same way that when they say woke, it's just a thing I don't like. But with British values, it's a thing I do like, right?
My values, the values
exactly.
I have.
The values that Robert Jenrick has, which is like financially fucking over the poorest for your own financial gain, being racist.
Exactly.
These things I don't consider to be good traits of Britishness. I'm not saying they don't exist in Britain, but I don't consider them to be patriotic virtues.
Well, indeed. So, like, British values historically have been the establishment of the church as part of the state by having an established religion, right? We still have bishops in the House of Lords. British values used to be the women weren't allowed to vote. British values used to be that we basically had a caste system because of our class system.
The
being
good
so
old
ingrained in our-
days.
Literally, because our class system was so ingrained in society. In fact, Burkean conservatism, the original kind of ideology of our Conservative Party, like formerly the previous parties before then, before they became the Conservative and Unionist Party in the 1800s, right, was formally built because of the idea that the class structure of society was the best sector of society. Of course, the upper class people who benefited had motivated reasoning, but that was the whole point, right? That all of these values have gone away and they've got replaced with like liberal pluralism, or what something we all broadly agree on in terms of values in this country is support for gay people. And yet, the party that wants to reclaim British values, the Reform UK, they want to become a Christian country again, as in culturally Christian. I don't know about you, but I've read the Bible. I'm not very keen on gay people. But that's not a British value anymore, not being keen on gay people. We are very accepting as a country.
True. Although we always said this, when the transphobes were done with trans people, they were going to go after the gays. So
That is also very true.
Why not, I guess. Yeah, thank you to Jack Mello with the gifties. And thank you to Oswald Snake with Bitty Bits. Much love.
Their region, their city and their area. That is not a definition of a slum.
Admitting that it was the Tories' fault. But fundamentally, just, again, like, this feels wrong. It feels wrong to hear a Tory say these things. It shouldn't.
Well, that's the thing. After 14 years of you being in office, if there are slums in Britain, that's on you. You did that. You allowed that to happen. No one else. You can't blame the council. The council do very little, really speaking. In terms of individual policies, like they can't not sell off council housing because the law says that people have the right to fucking buy. So there's nothing they can do about that. They basically keep the street lights on and do child services. So the national government has fucked Birmingham to pieces, and then wonders why it's poor. You destroyed all of the. Well, you destroyed the industry. Secondly, you destroyed the infrastructure, the healthcare service, the transportation, everything about this. Even the one plan you had for fucking HS2 has been spaffed up the fucking wall. You've destroyed not just Birmingham. Birmingham is like the front line of it, but there's huge swathes of the north of England and Wales and Scotland that have just been abandoned. Completely fucking abandoned by the Tory party and its extension, the Labour Party.
Yep. And you can't even say that it's a local problem either, because you were the mayor. Andy Street was fucking mayor of the west of England, or the West Midlands, sorry.
Yeah.
He was the mayor of the West Midlands. He was the mayor of the West Midlands, and his duty was to make it sure there wasn't a slum, and that's how it's ended up. But it shouldn't be surprising to me to hear this kind of support of, I guess, the actual citizens of this country from a Conservative. It shouldn't be surprising, because that was the median position of Conservatives as a party in 2013. It was expressed terribly, because it was all about the big society and hug a hoodie. I was like, we don't need social infrastructure to maintain this community, so you can just do it through spirit. And I'm like, no, we need money, actually.
Well, look how far right.
Look
Look how far right the Overton window's gone on basically everything, right? Like Boris Johnson had a pro-trans agenda, right? Well, that was fine. No, that wasn't even really questioned. There was none of this fucking religious weird shit. There was certainly no fucking ethno-nationalism. They had to keep that well under wraps. Whereas now it's just out in the open. The guy who is likely to be leader of the Tory party within the next 6 months, out here just being openly ethno-nationalist.
Yep.
That's how far down the road we've travelled. And the media are just fine with this, apparently. He should be drummed out of fucking office. He should be persona non grata. And yet...
And he's like the median right-wing opinion in this country now.
Basically, yeah. And again, he is to the right of the Reform Party, no doubt about it. Yeah. But I think it's too late for them. I think they've so sold out Conservative voters in Britain that it doesn't really matter how far right-wing they go at this point. I don't think people trust them. You can't say, we're against the migration when you let in 1 million people. Because all the Reform Party has to do is say, well, when you had the chance to do anything, you let in 1 million people. And that's it. That's the end of that discussion. No one's voting for them. They're dead.
Literally. Jerick was questioned about this on Sky News. Might be worth watching.
Oh, brilliant. We'll hear him fucking double down. He's very Trumpian. Never admit defeat, right?
Don't back down. Double down.
True. Robert Jenrick is a bellend.
It really is genuinely horrendous.
He's an awful man. And again, I just think he's a careerist politician who's jumping on a fascist bandwagon. I'm not sure he really believes it, but he's prepared to sell it with all the fervour of a real believer, which is arguably more dangerous in some respects.
I mean, almost very similar to Trump in that very specific way. You know, like Trump has just for the whole of his second term, all Trump has really been a vehicle for Stephen Miller, who wants to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, Trump from the very beginning pretending to be a Christian, when he clearly isn't. He's clearly a man of absolutely no religious foundation whatsoever. When he was asked, like, "Oh, what's your favourite bit of the Bible?" and he was like, "I like all of it." No, but what's your favourite bit specific? No, well, I don't want to pick a favourite. I like all of it.
I'd have to say the best of the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah. The New Testament, only the band the Old Testament could have been.
Your leader, Kemi Badenoch, has said that these protests that we're going to see at universities today should not be going ahead. We heard from Bridget Phillipson, the Education Secretary, saying that she doesn't want them to go ahead. The Prime Minister wrote it in the paper as well this morning. I think they're going to go ahead. Do you want to see students arrested if they protest today?
Well, I think these protests are an absolute disgrace. This is October the...
Yeah, it's October the 7th. Look, okay, I didn't stream yesterday. Not out of respect or anything, I was just tired. But I just want to say, I don't give a fuck anymore.
No, me neither.
I'm sorry. October the 7th might mean something special to the people of Israel, for obvious reasons, and that's fine. If you don't want to do shit on October the 7th, grand. But that's not a day I hold dear. I couldn't give two fucks. You have used it as a political weapon to engage in genocide. You have done an October the 7th every day for over 2 years now. I don't fucking care. Cry your fucking crocodile tears elsewhere. I'm not buying it.
I care as little about October the 7th as I care about 9/11. Like...
Yeah, like... And that's not to say anything that, you know, like, it was an awful thing that happened, but so was 9/11. So was the Battle of Agincourt. I don't fucking care.
And on top of this, like, when it comes to both 9/11 and October the 7th, there were material conditions that led to this.
Yeah.
This was blowback, is what it was.
Yeah.
7th. This is the day in which we should be mourning with those who are mourning. We should be...
Why? I don't know any of them. Why the fuck should I care? Look, that might seem callous, but why should I care about those fucking 1,000 people and not the 100,000 those 1,000 deaths have been used as reason to fucking kill? Why should I give a fuck? I don't know them. I'm not from Israel. I don't know any of the people. I have no skin in the game. Robert. So fuck you.
Commemorating the appalling terrorist attack by Hamas, and we should be calling with one voice for the remaining hostages to be released as quickly as possible.
I think you mean sausages.
And a peaceful resolution found to this terrible situation. These protests are frankly anti-British, and my message to anyone considering going on them is...
Yeah, but you think being brown is anti-British, so you can suck a dick.
I mean, he literally wanted to have the Star of David, like the Israeli flag, at every UK airport to show our fealty to the foreign state. And I'm just like, doesn't sound very nationalist, does it?
Then did a video the other day saying, people are sick of these foreign flags everywhere, meaning Palestine. Thanks, Rob.
Do not stay at home. Show some common decency.
Suck my anus. I don't care for your fucking your common decency is brown people bad. So you know what? If I offend your common decency, I'll take that as a W. I don't want you to think that I'm decent, Robert. Desperately. You are the yardstick by which I measure decency, because you are indecent.
To your fellow British citizens today, And yes, if anybody on those protests breaks the law by lionising prescribed terrorist organisations...
Okay, time out. What about if they only break the law in a limited and specific way? Is that okay? Would that be okay? What about if they said they supported Palestine action in a limited and specific way, rather than just a generic general sense? You know,
which we would never say though.
Well, I would never say that, because that might be terrorism, even in a limited and specific way. It might be limited and specific terrorism. I don't know, but I would never say that. But if they said that, would that be too much for Robert Jenrick? I wonder. Heaven forbid he had double standards or anything. Surely not.
Hamas or Hezbollah or Palestine action, the police should come down on them like a ton of bricks. They should be arrested. They have no place in British society.
What about international crimes, like war crimes, and they're members of the IDF and they come here? Yeah. What about that?
What about that, yeah. What about the fact that British citizens were abducted on the high seas by the State of Israel?
Because British citizens were murdered by the IDF.
Yeah, yeah. Any words to say about those crimes, Robert? No? Okay.
On the streets of our country.
You used the phrase as well that the Prime Minister used about them being anti-British. Let me just press you on that, because what can be more British than a group of people going out...
Well, not to be too pause Andy, although this is the 20th time I've paused in a minute and a half. But considering he thinks that blackness is anti-British or not integrated, surely he doesn't think that the person who is the leader of his party is British. Even though she doesn't identify as Nigerian anymore, because that's a thing you can just do.
It's true. I mean, you can do that. You can just say, I want to be considered British. Like, you can do that. It's just weird how she doesn't seem to extend that same courtesy to people who identify as a different gender as a sign of birth.
Well, you can do it literally in the sense that, like, you can just say, I want to be thought of as British. That's fine. But that doesn't stop her being of Nigerian heritage. That you can't get rid of that. That's just a thing that you are. That's like saying, I don't want to identify as someone with big feet. Like, you've just got big feet. Tough shit. Like, it's just a fucking thing about you.
But I guess, guys, having Nigerian heritage rather than, like, being a Nigerian, I guess it's different things, right? But
yeah.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah, like, if she wants to play football for England and not Nigeria, grand. Got no problem with that. But, you know, it doesn't stop the fact that you did qualify to play for Nigeria as well. That's fine.
Today, 2 years on from people in Palestine being the subject of a war that's seen at least 60,000 killed. The United Nations call it a genocide. They're going out in solidarity.
I'm going to correct you there. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But it's not 2 years on from people in Palestine being subject to a war. It's 2 years on from Hamas launching...
Even he's calling it Hamas!
Amazing. Also, it's both, Robert. It's both. It's both 2 years on from the attacks and 2 years on from Israel over the top.
Starting a genocide.
Yeah. Well, it was already doing a genocide. This is what I'm describing. It's not 2 years of a genocide. It's 2 years of this particular leg of the 80-year genocide.
Against the people of Israel. That is what we're remembering today. It is hundreds of innocent Israelis being murdered, raped, and kidnapped by Hamas terrorists. That is the thing we should be thinking about today. Of course, we all want to see peace in the Middle East. This is
Do we? Are you sure we all want that? Because you don't seem to want that particularly. You seem to want... You're gone, sorry.
He does want peace. He does want peace, but only after Israel have colonized all of historic Palestine.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And then also parts of Syria and parts of Lebanon.
Yeah.
Terrible situation, but it is the hostages and the victims of the October the 7th terrorist attack that we should be thinking about today.
Can people hold the two things in their heads at once? And do you think that people...
Yeah, I was wondering that, chat. I was thinking, is he going to go beheaded babies or titty football? I couldn't... apparently, the Hasbro talking points have worn off. Apparently, he didn't go with either.
And while condemning those attacks, also show solidarity with those within Palestine.
Of course people can, and I've been so clear about this. We all want to see peace in the Middle East. The loss of life is absolutely tragic at the moment, and that's got to come to an end. There is now, fortunately, a peace deal on the table that's been brokered by the United States with allies throughout the Middle East.
And it's a fucking joke. A disgusting joke. I'm sorry,
There's
like,
a capitulation agreement, yeah.
I understand why, in the desperation they find themselves in, the Palestinian people will just throw themselves at anything right now, because it's better than bombs falling on them, I guess. But, like, this is disgusting. The idea that Tony fucking Blair gets to just go in and be the new Grand Mufti of fucking Gaza City is despicable. And they weren't consulted. Fucking Netanyahu and Trump got together and came up with 20 points. And, like, Tony Blair gets more fucking name checks than Palestinians do. Ridiculous. By the way, hello there to the Raiderinos. Thank you to The Surfs TV for raiding in. Yeah, exactly.
Welcome in, Surfies.
Lance, my boy! I've been doing streams with Lance for years. I remember when he first got fucking banned off the YouTubes. Amazing shit. How things change. Anyway, hello there, The Surfs TV. I'm Kevin Logan, a socialist from the UK. Yes, we do exist. We do, I promise. You can hit the follow button. It's free and will make you 96% sexier. Terms of service apply. And you can also go and follow No Justice MTG, who is fucking awesome and is like the next big thing in British politics. So, getting on the ground floor.
Behind Zach Polanski, clearly, who is the biggest thing in British politics.
True. Or Muffin. Muffin the hamster. I'm depicting him just as a hamster now. That's it. It's fine. Anyway, so yes, hit the follow button. It's free. It's free.
It is extremely free.
It is.
And also subscribe to
Hamas.
True. Yes.
Who seem to be holding out, need to come to the table now, agree the final details of that deal, bring the conflict to an end, and above all, get the remaining hostages home to their families and loved ones.
What about
That's
the
what we need to
Palestinians?
see.
Yeah.
But look, if anyone thinks that it is British to go out on the streets on a day like today...
But what is, hang on, from a British perspective, what is the day like today? Because that's not a holiday here. Like, there are loads of other terrorist attacks that have happened. Like, the bombs go off in fucking Afghanistan every day. We don't have, like, fucking special attention for those terrorist attacks. Fucking Boko Haram, like, steal 50 fucking girls from a school every now and then. Like, we don't give a fuck about that. So what is it that's so special about this one particular terrorist attack that we can't even go out on a march or even say anything about it on this one day? Why the fuck would I give a shit about this one day? Fuck you and your one day. If people want to go and march, they're going to go and march. And you can't fucking stop them.
I'm afraid they are living in a different country to me. That is not the Britain that I want to see. Those people need to show some common decency and stay at home today.
Okay, before we talk a little bit about what you're going to say at conference, I want to play you a bit of yourself, actually, Robert Jenrick, from a recording that's been published in a newspaper this morning. We'll play it.
Also, speaking of which,
and then we'll talk on the...
Did you see the videos of Robert Jenrick's conference speech?
No.
It was completely demented. He started holding up a judge's wig aloft. It was very strange.
So he's just a weird little fascist boy.
He's very. I mean, he for someone who previously looked like all together as a dangerous fascist, right? Watching his speech where he just started waving a judge's wig around, had quite kind of an air of Penny Mordaunt going higher taxes, higher taxes, higher taxes, higher taxes. It's kind of how I felt.
It kind of gives off vibes of Clint Eastwood talking to the empty chair. I don't know if you've seen that. That's an amazing clip if you get a chance to see that. Fucking mental.
On the other side.
The other thing that I noticed there was that it was one of the worst integrated places that I've ever been to. In fact, in the hour and a half that I was filming with news there, I didn't see another white face. And that's not the kind of country I want to live in. I want to live in a country where people are properly integrated. It's not about the colour of your skin or your faith. Of course it isn't. But I want people to be living alongside each other, not parallel lives.
That's you talking about Handsworth as if you went there to film a video. Just expand a little more on what you're saying there in that audio, Robert.
Well, look, I don't resile from those comments. I want to live in a country which is well integrated. I want people to be living side by side.
They are living side by side. Like, what do you mean by integrated? Because those people are living side by side with different coloured people, white people, brown people, black people living side by side. So what the fuck are you talking about? What would you want them to do exactly?
I want to see segregated or even ghettoized communities.
They're not ghettoized. They're some of the most fucking diverse places in the city.
Exactly. It just, again, his idea of ghettoized is just no white people.
Yeah, all black and brown people are just the same. There's just whites and non-whites. Those are the two types of people.
We want people of all skin colours, of all religions, to be living in harmonious, well-integrated communities.
Which is exactly what Handsworth is. You have Muslims and Christians and Hindus and Sikhs all living side by side. Robert.
Communities with our kids growing up alongside each other, and I'm afraid in some parts of the country there are communities where that just isn't the case. And parts of Handsworth in Birmingham, where I was earlier the year, a place I know quite well growing up in the West Midlands, just don't...
No. You went to a posh school on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. That does not mean you understand Handsworth, you prick. Like, I grew up in Birmingham. I don't say... Well, having grown up in the Midlands, I'm a fan... I know all about Leicester. Because I don't. Like, I'm not from that place. What?
Like, I grew up in Kensington, so that means I know all about, like, the back end of, like, Tottenham Court Road, wherever it is, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. I grew up in Stoke Poges, so I understand all about Fulham. Like, no, they're different places.
That's a real kind of deep cut. That I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember going to a party when I was growing up from someone who lived in Stoke Poges, and it felt like stepping to another fucking planet.
Yeah,
it was genuinely crazy. Like walking through it, it felt like an American suburb because they had these huge gates in front of every house. These like the big driveways up to these mansions, just like down like a street where there's trees lining either side of it.
Yeah, look, it's Victoriana, like fucking mad excess. Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah, really weird. Which is also weird because like it's not that far away from other places which are just like some of the roughest places I've ever been as well.
Well, that's London is that way still. Well, it was before all of it was gentrified. Where like you'd have Whitechapel, one of the poorest areas in London, right next to the City of London, the richest square mile on earth. Like they were right next to each other, literally within a stone's throw. Mad.
And that makes me very worried. We need to have an honest, open conversation in this country about integration, because it hasn't gone well in recent years. You know, in the last 20 years, there's been at least 6 major reports by governments of all political persuasions about this.
Okay, and how many of those 20 years were you in government? The majority of that time.
The vast majority, yeah.
Almost like you fucked it up. Okay.
This challenge, and yet enough has not been done to try to tackle it. And so the remarks that you just played were me speaking to people in the West Midlands about my genuine concerns for that and how we can begin to resolve it.
Well, there's your genuine concerns, as you say, but you were there for 90 minutes. Now, Andy Street, who was mayor of the West Midlands for 7 years, heard those things and said that you're just flat wrong. He says that the area is integrated. He's a Conservative former Metro mayor as well. So why is he wrong and you right?
Well, look, I respect Andy, but I disagree with him on this issue. I do know the West Midlands well. I grew up down the road in Wolverhampton. I went to university.
No. You went to a posh fucking private school in Wolverhampton. You're not even like... I mean, okay, it's Wolverhampton posh, so it's not like posh, but it's still... you're not even like a real fucking yam-yam. Listen to you. For fuck's sake.
Yeah, like the very kind of world-weary Brummie accent that he is displaying to the public here, you know?
Oh yeah, no, it's like fucking Carl Chin, this prick. Yeah.
Birmingham, so I know the area well myself.
No, you don't.
I know the area of Birmingham well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there's plenty of people like fucking walking around Handsworth like you. Yeah.
And the concern I have in that community and in others across the country, it's not just about one place. That was an example because I was speaking nearby. Is that we're not living in a country which is as well integrated.
Yeah, you were speaking with some posh white people in Birmingham about the poor brown people in Birmingham and telling them how bad they were. Yeah, it's Conservatives. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
Okay, you've used this word integrated as well as the one that I'm interested in.
Can I just make this point, if I may? Look, there are real dangers.
Go on.
There are real dangers. If we don't live in a well-integrated community, then this can lead to serious, serious challenges. Look, just the other day here in Manchester, we saw a man who had lived in this country for 30 years, but was clearly not integrated into our society.
Hang on a minute. Whoa. Because he's like a homicidal freak, isn't an integration problem. He was just crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the idea that somehow this means that because there are communities with no white people, it means we're going to get loads of, like, murderers. No, that's not how that works.
No. And if you want to do the terrorism is un-British, then you would have to tacitly admit that the people of Northern Ireland are not British.
Or indeed the person who tried to firebomb a migrant centre in Dover.
Yeah. Indeed so. Or every British member of the IDF. Ew. Anyway.
David Menzer.
Yeah, sure. Yam yams are from Dudley? ? Yam yam is a more broad expression for like someone from the black country. Again, Americans, that is not a racial thing. It was to do with soot from the coal that was burned in all of the factories, which is why black people moved there, because there were jobs. Although I always liked Lenny Henry's line about, was it, they saw the sign for the black country and went, what, the Queen's put aside some land for us? Fuck yes, let's stop here. Which, yeah, fair enough. And also, oh god, another Lenny Henry one, was, he said that Enoch Powell was offering £20,000 for black people to go back home, and he said, I'd love to take that deal, because it's only 50p on the bus back to Dudley.
Did not.
Back when a bus was 50p. It's an old joke.
Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, exactly.
Committed an appalling terrorist attack by going to a synagogue and killing British Jews. That is at the extreme level where failures of integration lead. And that's why we've got to have a debate about this and not have it shut down whenever anyone puts their head above the parapet and talks about it publicly.
Oh, you can't criticise me for being racist. You're shutting down the discussion.
Well, the thing is, like, it's part of the discussion. Like, this is like, calling out your obvious racism for being racism is how the discussion is continuing. It's like, literally, it's like saying, well, everyone is entitled to my opinion. No, I'm cool. I think your opinion sucks and is a racist one.
Yeah.
It is part of the debate for me to accuse you of that.
Well, no, that's the thing. They want their freedom of speech, but they don't want freedom of speech. They want freedom from consequences. So they want to be able to say and do anything, and you can't say and do anything in response. Otherwise, you're the bad one.
Even freedom from criticism, even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you criticize me, that's anti-free speech. No.
I do wonder what integrated means for you, and I wonder how you can judge that a person is integrated by the colour of their skin, being there for 90 minutes.
Well, look, I was very clear that it's not about the colour of your skin.
No. But you said that afterwards because I think you realised you'd probably fucked up. But you can't just do the racist thing and then say I'm not being racist afterwards, and it cancels it out. You still did the racism, right?
Yeah.
So you can't, like, it clearly is about race, because how would you know that those people weren't integrated when you didn't talk to them? You saw brown skin and went, not integrated.
Yeah, your only data point that has gotten you to conclude this, as has been pointed out, from 90 minutes in Handsworth, is I didn't see another white face. That's a single data point.
Yeah.
faces, and that's
It
what
is
made you feel like it wasn't
the point
integrated.
that I was making is we want all people to be living side by side. We can't have particular communities in this country.
But they aren't. I mean, Handsworth breaks down as 60% Asian background, which in of itself is not a homogenous group because you've got Pakistanis, Indians, Bangladeshis, Sri Lankans, etc. And within that you've got Muslims and Hindus and Sikhs, etc., etc. And then you've got lots of people from various Caribbean islands and African countries in there as well. And then you've got about 10% white people as well. So in no way is this an ethnically homogenous area. There are pretty ethnically homogenous areas of the city, mostly with white people. White people are the one ghettoising themselves away from other communities.
Where there's a heavy preponderance of one group or another. We want people to be living in mixed communities, don't we? I mean, I don't know about you, but that's what I want to see in this country. That's the kind of...
I guarantee that Handsworth is more racially mixed than any seat served by a Conservative.
Oh, 100. Oh, no, the only one that's not, I think, is Shivani Raja in Leicester West, I think it is. Because Leicester East is Liz Kendall and South is Jonathan Ash. Oh, no, wait, it's Shock Adam because Jonathan Ashworth lost his historically safe seat of Leicester South.
Days, can we get some W's in chat? That was fantastic.
But in Leicester West, it's Shivani Raja, which is the seat which has like which probably has the actual kind of ethnic conflict that they say is everywhere, and it's actually basically just in Leicester West. It's where like Hindutva people were like running through the street chanting Jai Shri Ram around Muslims because they wanted to create tension. You know, there's a real Hindutva problem in Leicester West. But Shivani Raja only won the seat as a Tory because there was a 4-way split between the Labour Party and 3 independents.
Nice. She did the Abraham Lincoln.
Literally, 'cause it was Claudia Webb and another independent, and then Keith Vaz.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why are you still a thing? Go to your Rent Boys and Coke. Just leave society.
Slay.
Yeah, exactly. That was way more interesting than any New Labour person.
So I got that the wrong way around. Leicester East is Shivani Raj, Leicester West is Liz Kendall. But either way, there were 2 seats and this is the one. But yeah, Keith Vaz was running on the One Leicester campaign, which was really quite funny. And I'm just like, I mean, there is one thing you love in Leicester, May. I know what it is.
It's yeah, I didn't realise it snowed quite so much in Leicester. But...
You know, honestly, if every sex worker in this country had their drugs paid for by the Johns, I feel like they probably would be a lot more prosperous, you know?
Yeah, and single-handedly, he was keeping various people in that city afloat. So
yeah,
he was supporting local small businesses.
multiple local. He's supporting the local drug businesses and the local sex businesses, like sole traders.
Exactly.
Canny entrepreneurs were having their
most people
supported.
are going to these fucking fancy American mega sex stores. He wasn't. He was going to the local mom and pop sex stores. God bless him.
Absolutely. He really did show the rent boys of Birmingham a good time.
True.
So, someone clip that so I can put it on my my out of context account.
Growing up in, you know, there's huge strengths in that. But we mustn't have growing communities where people are living essentially ghettoised lives.
Okay.
They're not ghettoised.
For our country to be in.
It is. And Robert Jenrick, you know that kind of language, I mean, you said you're putting your head above the parapet, but you'll know that kind of language does give support for groups on the far right that don't want to see brown and black people living in this country.
Not.
You know that, don't you?
I tell you, I think that's an absolutely disgraceful and ridiculous comment. I tell you what gives rise to extreme...
Your fucking, faux outrage. That's a disgraceful comment. No, you know exactly the kind of people whose votes you're chasing here. Your acting is poor.
Yep.
Views. With all due respect, it's journalists like yourself trying to shut down...
What did I do wrong?
Legitimate...
I'm not shutting you down.
No, yeah, you're not... What the fuck, shutting you down? He's put you on fucking live national TV. That's the opposite of shutting you down. It's the same. It's the same with fucking John Cleese did a documentary where he was being silenced. I'm sorry, you have a documentary on fucking national TV, mate. You're not being silenced. Why is it always that the people who are silenced, I can never get rid of their fucking voices from my head? They're always just there. Yep.
It's like, oh, you're shutting down the question. So you're shutting down debate whilst asking questions and hoping for answers, which is literally how debate works.
Yeah.
And
But we've been talking about it for at least 5 minutes.
It is because what you are implying is that you can't say comments like that. And if we live in
Yeah. Or at least you can't and be expected not to be called racist. You can, of course, say it. Of course you can. Like, you have the freedom to do so, and then everyone else has the freedom to go, whoa, that was pretty racist. The fuck's that about? That's how that works. You saying I can't criticise you is trying to shut down my conversation.
in a country where politicians or members of the public cannot debate whether there is due integration or not, then
You're
that
having a
does
debate.
give fuel.
You're having a debate. You're literally debating right now.
Also, again, it's this thing, we never talk about migration, when that's literally all that ever gets talked about.
For extremists. That does give rise to the far right. So you must not take fair and reasonable comments and try and use them to shut down a debate that this country needs to have. We have been having this debate off and on for decades, and every time people try and raise these issues in a fair and reasonable way, with all due respect, journalists like you pop up and try and knock those people down. And that is the reason why...
How dare you question? How dare you question me about the things that I've said? You, as a journalist, are there just to be a stenographer and nothing more.
They're so used to being on GB News and not being asked any difficult questions.
Yeah.
They come up against a competent journalist asking reasonable questions to probe into the reality here and acting affronted that they're being scrutinised. It's all the same with these fucking establishment politicians. They just don't want to be ever scrutinised.
Yeah.
And again,
I
like,
don't live in an...
he says things like, oh, well, when people have, like, reasonable questions and reasonable concerns here, you shut it down. Like, but most people don't say it in the context of, well, there aren't many white people around here, are there?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my opinion necessarily, is it? I mean,
why,
Robert, because it's also
the reason
what
why
the mayor
terrorist attacks
of the West
happen,
Midlands said, Andy
because
Street,
people
you
are
were
not
wrong.
stepping up and taking the action that's needed.
Yeah, you asking me questions about the racist thing I said is why terrorism happens. A very sensible thing to say for a man who wants to be Prime Minister. I mean, he won't be because he's, like I say, he's fighting tooth and nail and selling out any vague sense of like normality that he's ever had or decency or principle in order to become the leader of a party that's about to be fucking ruined. So, you know, there's that.
Andy Street said that you were wrong as well, but we can move on from that, if you like. Now, you're going to be talking today about changes in the judiciary. You want to get rid of the sentencing council, and you also want to return back to the power of the Lord Chancellor, the power to appoint judges. Is that going to mean that we're going to have like a US-style system where we'll have judges who are political appointees?
Yes.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Look, this is returning to the world as it was before Tony Blair and Gordon Brown changed our constitution. I would argue vandalised our constitution.
Okay, why didn't you do anything about this for 14 years?
And also, just in general, like, it's just nonsense. The idea that if we had political appointed judges, they wouldn't be political. I'm like, of course they would be. Like, this idea that you can just have a game of kind of gentlemen's agreements. That you look at America and you can obviously see that it's failed. We have this gentleman's agreement that you're not supposed to have political appointees to the board of the BBC. Obviously, that fucking failed with Robbie Gibb and then the appointment of Tim Davie as Gensec. Like, we all know that these are political appointments. We all know what happens when you make things the duty of of politicians, that they will make politically friendly appointees. That's always been the point. So you have to protect against it.
Indeed.
20 years ago or so. What we want to see is the independence of the judiciary upheld. And that means rooting out those activist judges, the minority of activists.
Yeah, I'm going to appoint people who agree with me completely and utterly politically so that you know they're not biased.
Yeah, like, we're going to uphold the independence by getting rid of the very specific group of judges that I don't like.
Yeah.
Just upside down world.
Yeah.
A literal upside down world in terms of what he's saying here.
I'm just glad he will never be Prime Minister. because again, he's in a dead party, so it's sort of irrelevant, but it's sort of not, because it changes the gravity of the situation. That's why I really, again, just big plug, join the Green Party, because just having abolish landlords as a phrase that is now in the political zeitgeist is worthwhile.
So true.
Having that discussed, having that as a thing, it normalises it. You remember, if there's one thing that was achieved from the days of both Ed Miliband and, more importantly, Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader, was that they put nationalisation and, social democracy back on the agenda. If you remember when Jeremy Corbyn said, that we should have fibre optic cables and all the rest of it, public investment in that, and they called it broadband communism. And then within 3 years, it was Tory party government policy.
Literally. And again, just there's so much of this stuff. Like, there's a very famous interview where Jeremy Corbyn was like, well, it only took me 6 months to prove absolutely right, we need more public spending. And that's just absolutely been the case. 1 second, I will say thank you very much, Ray K, for the raid of 29. Welcome in, Raiders. You're through to the No Justice stream. We talk about UK politics from a socialist perspective 6 days a week. If that sounds like your thing, please consider dropping a follow both here on Twitch, and you can also subscribe on YouTube for free. It's absolutely free, therefore you should do it if you like socialist politics and UK politics. That is what I do here. I'm on stream here with Kevin Logan, who is also a socialist, also from the UK, also streams very, very frequently, who you can find at twitch.tv/KFLogan1875 and at Ploppy111 over on YouTube as well. Please drop a follow. Kevin is excellent.
That's how you know I'm very serious, because my name is Ploppy111.
Ploppy, son of Ploppy.
Very well thought out name that I definitely chose with the intention of starting to stream. Although it could be worse. Who was it? The streamer. Oh fuck, I forgot. And he chose a really silly name anyway, and he had to change it in the end. Anyway, that was yeah.
Also, I'm just trying to look at your channel. I don't know what you do. A variety stream of gaming, food, travel, music, and more. Well, welcome in.
Yeah.
I appreciate the raid. Enjoy me talking about why racism is bad.
Yes, and if your opinion is that racism isn't bad, I'm not sure you'll get on too well here.
No, we'll convince you. We'll convince you. A strong argumentation.
I'll poke you with a stick. Made of shit.
Seeing in our country at the moment, and ensuring the independence can be restored. I'm afraid we've uncovered a small number, but nonetheless a meaningful number of judges who are doing things which give the public rise to think, are they really independent? Let me give you some examples. Judges who are trustees or supporters of Open Borders charities.
Open Borders charities. What about the judges that are openly campaigned for Brexit?
And also, it doesn't matter. Like, again, you are essentially saying that their judgments are personally affected by their opinions, rather than them doing their jobs of interpreting statute, right? Like, you have no evidence that what they are doing is in any way influenced by the charities that they're trustees of.
Yeah.
And also, there's no such thing as an open border charity, because we don't have open borders. We just don't.
And very few outside of, like, absolutist anarchists are actually calling for that anyway. Like, no one's, like, who's calling for open borders? That's nonsense. And secondly, what exactly are you expecting judges to be? Robot boys with no opinions? Like, I assume that there are lots of, like, political opinions that judges have. They're politically engaged people. They're educated people. I understand that some of them will be, like, more, more in favour of migration and some less so. Some were pro-Brexit, some were anti-Brexit. Some vote for this party, some vote for another party. That's fine. It's what are they doing in their positions, not do they hold some opinions.
Quite so.
For fuck's sake. Go on, sorry.
Also, Ray K says in chat, I'm Palestinian. I actually speak English, Arabic, and Hebrew, so my niche is translating news from Arabic and Hebrew sources, but your bio is for safety and more Sukosi stuff as well. Well, everyone should go and follow Ray K, absolutely, and inshallah, Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. Welcome in. We love to see it.
Absolutely, yes. No, free Palestine. Yes, that is very much has been a focus of both of our channels for
years, really.
Longer than would be ideal, because
I mean, It's true. I mean, what's funny is people try and say loads of people only started being pro-Palestine because of October the 7th, right? And I'm just like, well, actually, we were both news channels, and unlike mainstream media, we were covering, Israel and the IDF doing incursions into places like Hebron and into and fucking gassing worshippers in Al-Aqsa. Like,
well, if people want proof that I was on the side of the Palestinian people long before this, you can go and watch a video I did with a number of creators, including Catherine and Canedo de Esquerdas and various others, which was a call on our fellow Europeans to boycott that year's Eurovision, which was being held in Israel. And that was like 2017 or something. And we did a collab video calling on everyone to boycott that year's Eurovision. Being held in like Tel Aviv or wherever the fuck it was. So yeah. So I've got proof positive that I'm not a bandwagoner.
Yeah. That's also very funny as well. Like, they were doing all these incursions. Like, they were killing people in Hebron and in places in Palestine. And again, as I said, gassing worshippers in Al-Aqsa Mosque. And everyone's just like, oh, where did October the 7th come from? And I'm just like, well, if you'd been paying fucking attention.
Yeah, you created the swamp from which monsters would arise.
Indeed so.
Just like with 9/11, just like with so many of all these other things. You create those sorts of things. If you don't go around bombing people, they're less likely to want to bomb you back.
So thank you, Journeying Jordan, for the 20 gifted. Much appreciated.
Nice.
Judges who've taken to social media to like or retweet posts which suggest that they are supporting changes in the law, or whether the government...
Wow, they have opinions on things. So what? Well, that's not an activist. That's a person who believes some shit, who retweeted a thing. Can you show where they made a call at the bench that was incorrect with what the law says and where their sentencing guidelines are? Because if you can, then you've got a point. Then I would say, you know what, maybe they're not fit to be judges.
But essentially, again, as you pointed out before, what his position here is there should not be judges who disagree with me, which is terrifying.
Which is literally a fascist mainstay. You have to be it's literally. I remember a fucking Roloff Freisler in the People's Court in Nazi Germany, where literally they would just stand there and hector people because they were essentially just doing the bidding of the regime. W's in chat for the fact that he was crushed under a stone table during an RAF raid. Lovely
Crab
stuff.
rave time, let's go.
Indeed, lovely stuff. Although that does mean he wasn't able to be hanged at the end. But either way, he's dead, so that's nice. Yes, that's what fascists do. They need the courts on their side. Because then they have the quote-unquote legitimacy of saying, well, what we're doing is legal. The courts have already rectified it, so it's fine.
Look at the Trumpian takeover of the Supreme Court.
Exactly. When the courts are on your side, you can do anything illegal because they'll just say it wasn't illegal.
Wins or loses cases in the courts. That's not right. That risks the appearance of political activism.
Whoa. I don't care about the appearance. I care about the reality. Yeah. You're out here going, well, I might look bad. I'm like, prove that it actually is. Apply some utilitarian justification for this or fuck off.
Exactly, yeah. Show me that they're not doing their job properly. Not that they hold opinions you don't like. Because trust me, if it was down to me, and it was like opinions I don't like that are held by High Court judges, there wouldn't be one of the cunts left. They'd all be gone. Because they're fucking twats who sit around in fucking powdered wigs and think that isn't mental, right? They're gone, these people, right? So if it was just down to that, there wouldn't be any of them, right? But I understand that my views are not those of everybody, and I can't enforce those. That's not how the law works, or indeed should work. And by the way, I said W's in chat, motherfuckers. That was not a request, it was a demand.
The independence and the respect of the judiciary by returning to the system as it was and ensuring that we weed out those judges who really are politicians rather than independent jurists. Okay. And we can ensure
that the public
confidence literally in the system none
is restored once again.
Robert Jenrick, I'm sorry to keep you, but just one last question.
He's a fascist. He's a fascist.
Oh, he is again. I said it before on the last time. I'll say it again now. He is the most dangerous politician in Britain.
Yeah.
He's so dangerous. He is
so.
absolutely. Because fundamentally, despite the fact that I think Farage's opinions on like the makeup of the nation are rancid, and I would never support it. I fundamentally believe him when he says that he has a broader kind of libertarian streak. That's why he opposes like the Online Safety Act and digital ID and all that kind of malarkey, right? Whilst I think that he probably would want to undermine like the independence of the civil service and the judiciary, the fact that Robert Jenrick is the one laying the groundwork shows that he's the real problem here.
Yeah.
Because you spoke to our Sam Coach yesterday saying that a pact with reform wasn't a priority. Could it be a priority later? You'll know that Conservative Party members want to see that happen, especially under your leadership.
No, look, what we all want to see...
The Reform Party would be stupid. Why tie you? That would be rats jumping onto the sinking ship. Like, why would you do that? Why would you fucking tie yourself to the sinking vessel? It's nonsense. And not just that, but it would destroy their credibility. Already the fact that so many Tories are joining them makes their, like, oh, we're not like the Tories shtick a little bit difficult to sell. If you literally then get into an official pact with them, are you different? Really? You know? Like, if you're just the Tory party, why would people bother voting for you? It would hurt them electorally.
Is the Conservative Party get back into business, and that means changing the Conservative Party, learning the mistakes of the past, ensuring that we have serious answers to the big challenges facing the country, like...
Which is why I'm instituting a new uniform of shirts that are brown. I'm just going to...
And that's literally Tory policy. Tory policy is to have our own ice.
Yeah, so like it's... And I don't know what we'd call this group, but all I'm saying is that their shirts will be brown. Maybe a snazzy armband. I haven't designed anything yet, but we'll see. We'll see. I've got my friend Hugo Boss on it. We'll be on it. It'll be no problem.
The economy going again so people could feel better off, or securing our borders and ending the farce of the small boats crisis.
That you caused. The small boats crisis, so that it is, didn't exist back in 2010.
Didn't exist back in 2015. What happened in 2016?
You made this happen. You did.
And by doing that, make the Conservative Party once again the natural home for small C Conservatives, so we can win back.
No, trust me, you're only going after big C's. I know.
The millions
you know, the
of
polls
people...
suggest that you would be more popular among members.
No, look, Kemi is our leader. We had a leadership contest a year ago. That was settled.
Only for a year. November 3rd. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. No, if he's got any fucking sense to him, and I don't know that he does, you don't challenge it straight away. You've got to wait until after May. Let her take the bad... Because even if he takes over now, he's not going to turn it around in time for the May elections. And they're going to get fucking wiped out again. Right? They're going to get absolutely smashed because no one wants to vote for them. They're wankers. So let her take that and then jump in. Don't take the poison chalice when they're still poisoning. Let her drink the poison and then hope the poison doesn't reaccumulate, you know?
That's the mistake that Rishi Sunak made. Just took control of the Tory party murdered by Liz Truss. And then, to be fair, he didn't do a particularly good job of trying to revive it because he was the one who just forgot to go. Or he decided to not go to fucking a D-Day celebration.
Oh, well, no, he did go, but then he left.
He fucking left, didn't he? So he did an interview with ITN.
Like, at least if he didn't go and he was like, oh, I'm sick, I'm calling in sick, like, that's one thing. But he turned up and then fucked off and left Captain Pigfucker to have his picture taken with the actual leaders. Oh, fucking hell, mate. Look, honestly, that still blows my mind, because that's the easy bit of politics. You stand around, you shake hands with Volodymyr Zelensky, it all looks awesome. Right, it's easy politics. You don't have to make any decisions. You just make a nice speech about freedom and bravery and blah, blah, blah. Sacrifice. Yay, Europe is free. And then you leave. But he went, nah, fuck it. I'm just going to fly home now. It's fine. We'll let someone else do it, you know. No one would mind. Cunt. Anyway, but actually, that's where I think Starmer and Sunak are on the same sort of level. There's a by-election coming up. somewhere or other. I think, is it Wales or somewhere? No, the Senedd elections in Wales. And Starmer was asked about whether he's going to go there and campaign. And he said, well, we'll see if there's, I've got, maybe clashes in the diary and all the rest of it. We'll see. Maybe we'll make some time for it. And I'm like, I know why he's saying that. Because in the same way that Sunak literally had members, candidates at the general election saying, don't come here. You are deleterious to my chances of being elected. Do not come here. The Welsh Labour Party are like, for the Christ, keep cancer in Westminster. Do not fucking send that piece of garbage here. Like, we're already facing an uphill battle. He will kill us.
I wonder if that's why Mark Drakeford resigned. He was just like, I don't want to be connected to this. I've built up so much goodwill. I'm gonna leave the poison chalice for somebody else.
Exactly, yeah. Get out, and not just that. Get out while you're on the top. Don't wait for it to go downhill. Just be like, everyone likes me now. Leave it there. Boom. Everyone's got good memories then. All good. You don't want to see a good, like a world-class footballer have to drop down to the leagues. You know what I mean? It's sad. Sad to say.
And I'm fully supporting her. I wouldn't be serving in the shadow cabinet if I didn't think that she was the right person to be leading our party and ultimately our country forward in the years ahead.
They're averaging about 26 seats in polling.
Oh, it's close. It's close between them and
Plaid
Cymru.
Honestly, them and Plaid Cymru or them and the Greens, a couple of point swing here or there, and the Tories could find themselves in 6th. in the number of seats. They could be sat behind Plaid Cymru. Imagine that if they were sat behind Plaid Cymru. Oh, and just nearly nutted. It'd be amazing.
Again, I don't think it's that beyond the realms of possibility. Given that
it's not.
The Plaid do well in the Senedd elections, they become the default anti-reform vote in Wales, and they suddenly end up with like 12, 13, 15 seats, whatever it is.
That'd be amazing.
The Tories could be on 10 or 11. They really could.
The Tories are going to be sat next to the DUP. Which is ironic, given that it was that fucking reform, it was that government, the supply and confidence motion that started this whole fuck up, really, from the Tories' perspective.
Very true.
So there you go. But anyway, you get into bed with a group of fucking Christo-fascists. Who could have predicted that wouldn't go well? Oh yeah, everyone, literally every person that saw that. Anyway, I'm gonna fuck up. Are you continuing on with something?
No, I'm a little bit under the weather from spending loads of time at conference. I'm probably gonna leave it there. I've been going for about an hour and a half, which is half an hour shorter than usual. But I've got to be up early to get to London for Novara tomorrow. So
well, I did see you
stay up too late.
Yeah, I did see you being interviewed for the Greens organised thing, and I also noticed cheeky little phone stashed in the bra. Lovely manoeuvre.
Oh yeah. That's my new. That's how now I have a flip phone. Now I've got a flip phone. It makes it. Yeah, literally, it's so cunty. It is incredibly cunty. Like I remember now why the Motorola Razrs were so cool.
Yeah, they were.
It all makes so much sense to me as to why people were so hot on the Motorola Razrs, because it's extremely cunty.
Very much so.
But yeah, so that is how I saw my phone now. Watching it, I wish I had taken it out. I just.
No, it's a great look. It's a great look.
I just completely forgot that it was there. I also just kind of wish they'd not posted it, because I might have to tell Greens Organised if they're going to post my content, turn off replies. I don't want to. I like that in my little corner of the internet that I've cultivated, I don't have to deal with a deluge of transphobia.
Yeah.
And for some reason, whenever Greens Organised post my content, it's just people mocking my appearance. Yeah. And I'm like, it's fine. I can deal with it. I'm used to it. I have a mirror. I can see myself. I don't care when people say this, but it's not nice. It's not nice.
Also, you said in the thing that you're fat, right? And I just said, no. Don't make me show you what real fat is. Okay? I will get my fucking titties out. So help me God.
And also, what I will say is that I am enjoying the new trim that you've got there, Kev.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I did that about 2 hours ago. Well, actually, a bit more than that now. Because I thought, well, I'm going to be on with Curtis or whoever. So I'll have a little...
You look like a metal band drummer.
Yes, no, I've gone very much with... this is 2002... I think more kind of new metal bassist. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's definitely new metal. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely the genre specifically.
exactly. The rap and rock and roll together, thus making something not as good as either. Brilliant. Anyway, yes, I'm going to send everyone into Lux Progressive. Everyone go and check them out. They're cool. And
I will also do the
are
same
you back?
on Twitch.
You might. Well, if you're up for it, we can do Thingamajig tomorrow.
I probably won't be home in time, but I will happily do it on Friday afternoon.
That's fair. You can
if
do
you
that.
want.
Then. Yeah.
Maybe we can do. Yeah. If you're free in the afternoon on Friday.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to try and try and do it early so I can get a clip out before it becomes old news. So
Yes.
maybe like 2 p.m. something like that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
And YouTube viewers, I'm going to send you into a difficult truth.
Yeah. Free Palestine.
From the river to the sea, we stand.
Bye.
Goodbye. Bye.
Chilling and chatting. We don't gatekeep here. We love people just being here.